I do this every single time. Of course, I was addressing you, but I didn't have I was on mute. But y'all, how you doing? It is I, Vitamin Key. What's going on in these YouTube streets? It's been a while, has it not? Yeah, wake up. You were cracking me up with this. Yeah, it's getting real spooky. It's very spooky. Hey, fitness. Hey, wake up. Concern. Hello. Oh, good. You just heard about this? Yeah. It's been brewing for a few days. It's getting very wild. It's getting very wild in these streets. But I'm not gonna dive right in just yet, right? I'm gonna oh, you know what? Let me open this up. I was about to play myself and not even have these things together. But let me go ahead and get everything together while you all are filtering in. How y'all been doing up? Like, what is up, my peoples? Tell me, what are the new haps? I haven't been you know, I haven't been going live and stuff. It's just been a nasty couple of weeks, just in a general sense. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I've been anxious. I've been down in the dumps a little bit. Not necessarily about anything personal with me per se, but just the general state of the world. It's just like I couldn't rationalize coming and talking about what to me tantamount to just useless mess when, the world's going to hell in a handbasket, right? It was I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I can't. But I saw this. I saw all these goings ons, and I said, "Oh, you know what? Let me see what's going on here. Let me look into a few things." And also, I noticed that it's been a lot of it's been a lot of dialogue about this, and honestly, it's been brewing. It's been brewing. Um, for a long time now, but like for me, the question has been, as I've been monitoring social media and everything like that, my question has been like, where are the conversations that I want to have? You know what I mean? And I know like I can lead conversations, but I gotta be real. Most of y'all won't come up and talk to me. So it's just me talking by myself here for the most part, right? Which is cool. I love kicking it with you guys. It's not a problem. But I'm a consumer of social media. I'm a consumer of content, right? And so it's been a bit of a challenge without having to go to like white people, in white spaces to find different conversations or conversations that are about different things than, the stuff that my people who I love just always want to talk about and the ways that we talk about these things. You know what I mean? But I'm seeing so many more people. Hey, Leela. Hey, Alicia. Hey, BX Bayou. Welcome. Welcome in. Um, oh, and share the live if you would, so more people can come in, because I'm only gonna say this stuff once. um, but yeah, it's very. We talk here all the time. Like I posted some posts. Go to my community. It's not community tab anymore, is it? It's posts or something. I don't know what it's called, but where I just post things that aren't videos. And I was saying like how it's so interesting to me that now all these conversations are being had about who black women not needing tough love and this and that and the other. And like everybody in my camp has been on this time. You know what I mean? Everybody I fuck with has been talking about this. That is the core tenet, if not one of the core tenets of our platforms, is talking about how black women deserve softness, how Black women deserve grace, creating and holding and protecting safe spaces. Hey, Devonda, um, for Black women, like all day, every day. That's the mission, right? And so, I'm glad, I am happy to see that more people are being vocal about desiring that. That more people are being vocal about making that the standard or having that as personal standard. Um, I feel like that's definitely a conversation that needs to be more widespread. Because, like I said, we've been on that. We've been on that over here, me and the girlies, right? So I want to see. I want to see the change. I'm excited to see the change that may come about, because more people are making that something that they're publicly stating that they want, right? And it's going to be interesting to see how people, um what adjustments people may make, now that that's becoming more of a spoken standard. But with that being said, I want you guys to know that I feel really special. I don't say this all the time, but I'm going to gush over you guys because you guys, you're my people. You know what I mean? Like, you're my people. And I really fuck with y'all the long way. And y'all fuck with me. And so that always blows my mind. And I'm always so happy about it. But like, I really appreciate that I've been able to cultivate a community, of people that are safe, are a safe, squishy space to be able to come and have these discussions and mine for the true value that can be taken away from this, not just entertainment, not just distraction. You know what I mean? Hey, TC. But really looking for deeper meaning, looking for opportunities to grow, looking for opportunities to let others know that they're seen, that they're appreciated, that they can be safe around us. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, um, Alicia, peace is the mission, right? Peace is the mission. Okay. Peace is the mission. And if I could, if I were queen for a day, or, in control of the world for a day, my thing would be making sure that, or wanting to see at least, what it would look like if everyone in the world could feel safe. You know what I mean? Like, if everyone in the world, yes, Marissa, squishy spaces. Marissa is one of those people, shouting from the rooftops. Just, hey, Black women, tough love is not it. Black women don't need any more tough love. We don't need anything else tough. You know what I mean? Um, and Alicia, you know what I mean? Like, we've been out here screaming it, yelling it. So now is our time. Squishy bears rise, okay? Squishy bears rise. But yeah, I'm just so happy. I'm so blessed to be with you all. What's going on with me? Oh, I'm in school. I'm having a sociology class. Hey, Summer. I'm enjoying that. I did not know that I was a sociology girly, but I was just like, oh, okay, liking this. This is interesting. I'm very engaged. Um, I just have this one class until October. At the end of October, then I'll have another class, a computer class. So I'm just kind of coasting, enjoying my time and soaking in all the knowledge and whatnot. What else is going on? It's just been a really chill time for me and the baby. She's just a bitter love. Yeah, keep a little bit of bitterness. Scrutinize these men, as always, as ever. Scrutinize these men today, scrutinize these men tomorrow, scrutinize these men forever. Okay. But yeah, oh yes, fall time. Fall time. Happy fall. Loving the crispness in the air. Ready for these fits. I've been wearing my hair natural. I think I've been looking sidebar before we even get started, right? So I've been trying to figure out like a signature look for myself. And I think I'm just going to go with the wash and go curly fro. I'm really feeling this. I'm really enjoying it. And it's easy and effortless. See, the problem with me is because I don't leave the house too much, if I can help it, your girl be in here looking like whatever. Okay. Like I will literally just throw something on. It could be a hat or it could be a little wig or a half wig or something like, but the only time I try to look like anything is because when I have to pick up my daughter and drop her off, because even though I support the bonnet girlies, I'm not a bonnet outside girly, but I support their right to do so. But I just can't, I just can't bring myself to do so. So I will wear a scarf though. But my point is like, I'm like, okay, what are some things, my main thing, and that's another reason why I haven't been doing content too, because I'm just like, that perfectionist spirit is like, okay, I got to do the whole to do. And I'm like, all right, please believe me, I'm trying to get myself together to eliminate any and all of my excuses. So one of my excuses is always my hair. My hair would never be done and stuff. And it's like, oh, makeup, all that other stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to just start doing this wash and go situation with my hair. So really excited to get started on that. I know you're like, well, girl, we can't see you right now, but yes, that's because this was impromptu. I just was like, you know what, let me hurry up and do this before I talk myself out of it and convince myself that it's not even worth talking about. But yeah, I forget where I was going with this. Dang, just that quick. I forget where I was going with this. Let me read what Black Healer says. Welcome, Black Healer. It says, my friend girl was telling me that social media was mad because she is still married. I was like, to that bum who openly disrespected her the entire listen, we're going to get into all these things because it's really like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Happy fall. Yes, we're speaking it. You said it's like 80s here, girl. Child, it'll probably be 80s tomorrow. Who knows? Because every time it was real fall like a week ago or whatever, and then it started getting hot again out of nowhere. Devonda says, I don't think they're shaming her, but they're critical of her having a side dude kid she barely knows and isn't divorced yet. The guy is DL allegations and a man not of good character. Yeah, I heard all that. Sweater weather. Sweater weather. Sweater weather. Yes, we're very cute. It's very cute seeing here. They're going to make it about marriage as an institution. If Cardi wants more kids, who are we to get in her face? We have no reason to assume she's a bad mother, period. Yeah, I like a wash and go. And the thing is, like, until I was in my 20s and stuff, I didn't know my hair texture. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew, how the 80s and stuff was. Wasn't nobody wearing their hair for its texture. It was just whatever state it was in the midst of manipulating it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't until we got into that whole natural hair girly thing of boom of the arts that I was like, oh, I actually have a texture to my hair and this is what it is. And I like it, So I would do that on and off and wear it. So now this is just another phase of me getting really deep into it and wanting to stay here for a while. But I do I'm liable to do one thing and the next thing I cut it all off. You never know with me. So Alicia says, I heard the Reed lady was so harsh at any point she had was lost. Listen, we're gonna get it. Let me I'm trying to say. It says, I'm not outraged. It's just depressing women making babies with random men. And the excuse is simply money will take care of everything. We're going to get into all that. So you know what? With that, I'm going to go ahead and yes, men are equally responsible. Bingo, boop, bow, pow. So let me go ahead and add this intro, this good intro for us. And then we can go ahead and get started because everybody is ready and raring to go. This is a mother.
No problem. You in charge of the girls, right?
I am in charge of the girls.
Are you in
I too am a lazy natural summer. I'm a lazy everything. I'm a lazy everything. If I'm doing my hair a certain way, best believe I'm gonna find a way to make it autopilot. Uh, she said, saying that's one of the reasons my head be shaved. Girl, I was thinking about you and shaving your head and stuff too. Because I was thinking about what you had talked to me about. And I'm sorry, I had a glitch in my brain. My brain just stopped. I was thinking about, I wonder if she's gonna let her hair grow out anymore. No, but you look amazing either way. Like I love seeing all you guys that wear that keep your hair cut low or shaved or whatever. I got a brain head. At least it feel like I have a textured scalp is what I'm saying. There's some places it's a little bit wrinkly or whatever that I feel like. At least I feel like it's I don't think you would ever catch me with a shaved head if I could help it. But yeah, I love to see it. It's very regal and I know it has to be a dream. Like so easy. But anyway, yeah, so what's going on is that our girl Cardi the B, when I say the B, I don't mean the B like bitch. I just mean the B because I was being silly in that moment. So just had to make that known. But Cardi B, the Khalees, Barty has gone and gotten herself in the family way again. And it's been a lot of discourse, a lot of opinions, a lot of criticisms about that reality been going around. Now, I feel it's very important in the spirit of transparency, honesty, and also because this is something that I discuss in my book. Oh hell yes. Check this out. In my book, Level Up, the Single Mother's Guide to Reclaiming Her Dignity. Now girl, hold on one second, y'all. I had to I was sitting there, I decided to be in a different part of the house with my baby, mind you. And she's on her computer and I'm on my computer. And she starts playing these videos she wasn't playing earlier. She's such a funny little person. Oh, I gotta show y'all the bracelet. I'm gonna take pictures later. Look out for this on my what's this called? Community tab. I'm gonna take picture of my bracelet she made me later. It's so cute. She made bracelets for her little friends, and I was like, I want a bracelet. But anyway, back to what we was talking about. There's a part in my book where I say many of us will loudly profess the pain our mothers inflicted on us and yet can't make the correlation between the similarities in our romantic choices and how our children might be affected in ways to similar to the ways we were. We have got to be better. We've got to do better because we have more of an opportunity than ever to learn better. Maybe our parents didn't teach us, maybe our community didn't care for us to know, but it's our duty to learn and do better for our children's sake. And this book is meant to end any and all deniability of culpability and alternatives and usher in the beginning of a golden age for us all. And I feel like that's important because to frame the conversation because this space, while a safe space, it is a space about being honest. It is a space about having hard conversations about shameful things, about things we're not proud of, about ways that we may need to improve, things we need to check within ourselves. You know what I mean? About ways we can fail our kids and all that type of stuff. So this is going to be as honest of a conversation as humanly possible because for me it is about taking care of black women, it is about taking care of the mothers, but it's also about taking care of children, yes, in the family way. No problem, channel. You didn't miss too much. Welcome, I'm glad to see you though. So when we're having this conversation, it's not about, oh, never say anything bad about this, that, or the other. It's a way broader than that because it's not even necessarily about bad and good and this and that and the other. For me, the conversation is more so about intent. So what is it that we're intending in these dialogues we're having? It's about audience. Who are we talking to? Who do we think we're talking to? You know what I mean? And it's about dignity. The name of my book is Level Up: The Single Mother's Guide to Reclaiming Her Dignity. So it's important to me that, hey, my Tori, I'm glad to see you. Oh, this is good. I'm gonna put this up for later. We're gonna get back to this black healer, but yes, that's a good point. What was I saying? Oh, this is a conversation. Like, who are we talking to? So when we're having these conversations, what stands out to me is, and what's always bothered me about this idea of tough love, and that people are always saying in this like exasperated way, oh, who gets to hold black women accountable, or when do we get to hold black women accountable, or how are we supposed to hold black women accountable? And I've always said this is similar to me to the energy of when the men are talking about stepchildren and like, oh well, I don't want stepchildren because I don't get to discipline stepchildren. Why are you so focused on this aspect, this one aspect of interacting with people? Why is it so important to you as an individual to feel like you are entitled, allowed, whatever word you want to use, to address another human being, another sovereign human being, or a human being that's no less sovereign than you are in this particular way? I always say that, like, your logic is subjective to your objective. So for me, it makes it crystal clear that these people's objective is not necessarily about protecting children. It's not about creating positivity. It's all focused on, egoic expressions of power, of superiority, of control of some kind, and based off of that fallacy of meritocracy of like, oh well, I've earned the right to talk to you this way, I've earned the right to judge you in this way, and I've earned the right to be your judge and to dole out justice and or accountability to you because I am your better in this particular way. And that's the thing that I kind of want to like get into and examine in this. Summer says, Cardi seems like a good mom from what I've seen. Obviously, I don't know that personally. I think that's why I don't care. Yeah. Concern says control. Yep. And fitness says because they want to dominate and abuse. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold on. I didn't start it. Why are we doing that? But I'm going to go ahead and share this. So we're going to, I'm going to start. I think I'll start with Cardi B talking about her pregnancy. No. Okay, yeah, I get it now. These were things I wanted to do later. Yeah. So we're gonna start with what Crissle had to say. We're gonna start with what Crissle had to say. Again, and also I'm gonna assume that everybody here knows who all the players are that I'm gonna talk about today. So the person on the thumbnail, the cartoon person, that's Crissle. She has a podcast named The Read with the Guy Kid Fury. They've had it for about a decade now. It's been a long time they've had that. I remember when they first came out, it was this big old deal. Everybody loved it, yada yada yada. Yeah, so we're going to hear what she had to say, and then we're going to just kind of take it from there. Marissa says that's it. Talking down versus calling in. Yep, period.
Immediate like concerns about the welfare of the children. It is just, I'm just like, girl, you have 3 babies already by a nigga that you admittedly hate,
right,
and have said that you wanted to murder,
and not even divorced from.
and not even divorced from yet.
Yeah.
And you just met this new nigga
Yeah.
with kids. that you're still getting to know, and you're like, yep, sign me up for another one.
Yeah.
That's not a decision I would make or suggest. But hey.
No, I'm not okay with this. I can't just, oh, it's your pussy, so it's your business. Like, technically, yes, that's true. And a lot of the Cardi stans are going to respond, well, she got the money. I'm not talking about, if money was all it took to raise kids, the Trump kids wouldn't be held like they are. Trump wouldn't be held like he is. It's not just money. You also need parents who are very mindful and deliberate about bringing you into the world and choosing to guide you to adulthood. That is how we raise decent, good people. Yo mama out here giving her pussy to whoever the fuck she wants to and keeping whatever y'all drop off in her fucking uterus is crazy. I was expecting so much more out of Cardi B because you are not just some broke, bored bitch in the Bronx who don't have shit else to do. Oh, I ain't got nothing to do today. I ain't got no money to go out. Let me just fucking get pregnant. Like, you have a life. You have a career. You have things to work towards and work for. Like, I just cannot.
Well, she's a street bitch. I think this show is older than her time in the strip club. Like she you know what I mean? Like, she's Cardi B, yes, and Met Gala now, and you would like to think that people will go, oh wow, things to live for, access time to do better and be better.
Or having 3 kids already, maybe because you have so much money, it's not really hitting you because other people are doing so much of the actual day-to-day childcare work. Maybe it's not hitting you how much kids really do need a solid foundation and need their parents to be locked in and engaged with them. You say, oh, well, my kids are fine because it's an assortment of nannies to take care of them 24/7. Your children will be hurting for the lack of their father's presence in their life. If their father is either lacking because he's a healthy, great dad who's simply not around anymore, or lacking because they deserve a healthy, great dad who's not there and never was there because that's not Offset or who he is or what he does. Either way, the children lose. Blossom just turned 1, meaning you were fully pregnant. You talking about going on tour in February. All right, it's mid-September now. So I'm guessing that means you're knocking on your last trimester.
Right, I would guess.
So you're going to give birth to this baby probably near the end of the year, towards the top of the year, and then spend 6 weeks in surgery and tour rehearsal to then do what? Go on stage and do fucking nothing. I went back and watched Cardi B's performances after she came back after having Culture. Some of the most boring shit you ever seen in your life. And not because of the performance itself. Oh, it's great colors and costumes and dancers and musicians. There's a bunch of shit going on. You know who not do nothing? Cardi. Laying down on a fucking round table and letting that shit spin around for half the fucking performance and then getting up and having niggas salsa dance her and twirl her ass around on stage for a little while. She don't do shit. You waited all this goddamn time to release another album just to get pregnant in the middle of this album being done and preparing for the... Why? Why, bitch? Why? You don't know how to use your butt? You never heard of condoms? You never heard of the IUD? You never heard of the pill? You decided to get pregnant by the nigga you cheated on your husband with? Why? This is just dumb bitch shit. This is so fucking stupid. You are bringing a whole new person into the world, girl. It's not playtime. It's not that ugly ass Labubu Kid Fury just got. It's not some toy you can just toss around and it don't matter how it feel about nothing. It don't matter about its circumstances. This is a human being.
It's completely.
I just can't believe this dumb bitch. Of all the time, you had so much time to push out however many kids you fucking wanted to. You chose the most pivotal moment, getting ready to release your sophomore album and finally go on tour because you canceled it the last time. Why? Kids. To finally do that shit. And now you're like, oh, as soon as I'm ready. I've been stretching. I'm getting my body ready. You're getting ready to go lay down and pray that mommy makeover don't kill you like it do so many other women. And then do you a little boom cack 1-2 sidestep on that fucking tour. I hope you girls are ready for her to give you fucking nothing. but unnatural hips, a ridiculous looking whoa. I guarantee you, like she said, she gonna have Hennessy put her in that fucking faja 3 seconds after she's done giving birth, because don't nothing matter to her more than the way she looks. An actual show, you can forget about it.
Put in what?
A faja, you know, the girdle that the
that's what it's called?
girdle, yeah.
Like a waist
That's the
thing?
Spanish word for the girdle waist training thing. Like, Hennessy, give me a fucking faja, yes, because don't nothing matter to you more than that. I'm sure you got the surgery already scheduled, and that'll be what you consider tour prep. This after we have waited
really be at home
7-8 years,
folding laundry, just wear this shit all day long.
Yeah, they do. And it's like, whatever. You bitches care a lot about that, and that's y'all's prerogative. I just don't understand being so cavalier about creating a new life, and then being like, I'm so proud of myself. I'm working so hard, and I'm doing all this while I'm making a baby. That was optional. You did not have to fucking make a baby right now. Only God knows why you did that stupid shit.
God knows, I have like a guess I'd put some money on, but I already said it.
Talking about me and my man, you know, he make me feel so safe, obviously, because he like bigger than me. But, you know, also just, you know, he was like, let me heal you. And I was like, okay. All right. So you were tired of the lying, cheating, scamming ass rapper, and you said, let me go get me an ugly ass athlete with rape allegations and multiple kids on the way, allegations, all kinds of impropriety. Again, allegations, because anybody can say anything, but they are allegations. They're out there. You said, let me go get me a professional athlete instead. And then getting on video and stuff talking about, it's so crazy having my man, because like I work, but I don't work like he work. Like he very strict. He get up at the same time and he eat very specific food. And like yeah, he takes his job seriously, girl. That man is an athlete.
That's like bare minimum. He's a professional athlete.
He has to take care of his body. You don't work out.
And eat breakfast.
You stretch. You stretch.
Bitch, what
and
the
then go
fuck
lay down.
You need process. Okay, yeah. She's exercising. She's doing her lunges.
No.
That bitch said this morning. I heard her, Crissle, this morning. She told Gail King. She does her bent over rows.
You wanted to hear that.
She does. She does.
No, because I watched it twice.
That bitch said she takes care of her body. She stretches it out. Excuse me?
That lets you know how much movement she plans on doing on that stage for this tour. Y'all have fun. I'm going to listen to the album. I am, but I cannot I can't picture me spending money on a ticket to go see that girl get on stage and have everybody else put on the show. I don't see that.
Because I know there are some women who are performers who have had babies or rehearsed or had, you know, like women who have been in similar situations where they either just had a baby or are about to have a baby and going on tour or have a big show.
Okay, so we're gonna let that brew a little bit. I also thank you so much, Devonda Pittman, for bringing that up, because I meant to do a disclaimer or contextualization before we got started, but I forgot. So thank you for bringing that up. For the purposes of this conversation, I'm just going to say this up front. I recognize the history of Cardi being not in alignment with a love and respect of Black people, of American Black people, of unambiguously Black people, of just Black people. You know, that reputation. I've already spoken about my particular opinions on that, the Roaches situation, so I don't want to revisit that. I will say, as of late, though, she had an instance where she was exhibiting fat phobia. I'm going to call it what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to try to change it, whatever. I was highly annoyed with her with that. And I personally, for me as an individual, I'm not gonna lie, I like her spirit. Like, we'll see some clips of her later I have queued up. I like whenever I just happen to see her offhand and see her just being herself or whatever like that, I like her. Sorry, I liked her. I liked her when I saw her on Love and Hip Hop. There's something about her personality when it comes to how people will count her out and people will talk down to her. Like that was even happening back then on Love and Hip Hop, where people were just kind of like writing her off and she would just be kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. And she would go on and then she would um launch off into the stratosphere. I like that shit. You know what I mean? Not going to lie about it, but that does not mean she's above reproach. That does not mean that she is incapable of crossing lines that I personally don't like. And so, because I'm recognizing a pattern of her doing and saying things that I either can't justify or I outright do not like, I personally have kind of stepped a few steps back from her, but in a general sense, I still like her, like in a general way. And yes, this behavior is still wrong. And furthermore, being that Level Up Single Mom is about this specifically, this is what this is what I'm focusing on. So yeah, all the things that's still there, not trying to fight it, not trying to get anybody to change their mind about it, not trying to get anybody to, love her that doesn't. Just wanted to address the elephant in the room. Marissa says people tend to respond this way when something resonates in them, like working through self-shame by shaming someone. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And there were a lot of people that were saying that basically about her. So I'm going to now play a response because let me see. What all do I have here? I've been collecting things. What's playing? Oh, okay. You know what? I'm just going to share what I got here. Y'all ain't going to see nothing bad, I promise. I'm going to just kind of go through and share what I got here. So, I got them. So this is a mutual on Twitter that I have. She's responded to, if we want to go there, the only reason why y'all so triggered is because some of y'all be moving like her with your own wounds, come from bloodlines that do, or associate with women who move like that. Hit dogs are hollering per the usual. It's very nasty. The dialogue, the the conversation is very nasty. And then Birth Bestie says, and y'all want me to believe this has anything to do with care for kids or what's appropriate, like anyone else can't see that y'all be waiting for celebs to slip up so you can feel comfortable and let your feelings about everyone else out. Neighborhood Publicist says, one day we're championing how children should be considered and thought of as real people. The next day it's okay to purposely bring them into distressing situations that are preventable because you can. So we're going to get into this. She's responding because there was so much more backlash against her for it, because it was something where she said let me take a step back. I'm gonna stop sharing. Let me take a step back and give y'all some more context. So apparently when she was years and years ago, before she was Crissle of, podcast fame or whatever, she had a corporate job and she had a corporate credit card. And so basically now people are bringing up that she had gotten fired from her corporate job back in the day because she was using her corporate credit card. They kept saying she was using her corporate credit card on cupcakes. So I found out that basically she had like I guess a side business where she was going to make cupcakes. So long story short, she was misappropriating funds through her job and she got fired for that. So people are like dragging her. They're dragging her for what she said. They're dragging her for being mean. And also it's come out that she went to school for therapy. She has a master's in something therapeutic something. I forget. She's going to say what it is, but I just wanted to give you a background of this. Let me check y'all. Stay up on y'all comments. This is why I think, just like Off Cheese said, no one will want her. People are mad she isn't out here sad. Yeah. But I always say they want mothers and single mothers specifically to be dialed, bent, and broken. Like it's all about control. It says go read the government for what they're doing to the kid. Okay. She said, "Is this her normal tone on the podcast? I've never listened." So the read, this is what I will say. The read is exactly, we all here. I'm assuming everybody that's here is someone that's supposed to be here. So we all here know what a read is. And their show is called The Read. And yes, their show has always been about reading. So in that sense, it's like if you're surprised or shocked by the goings on in that sense, that would be folly, right? Um I I never listened to that. Like I knew who Kid Fury was and I knew who she was from back then, but I never subscribed to their thing. I may have listened to one or two episodes way back in the day, but honestly, I completely forgot. And I'm talking about for years. It has not been on my radar. You know what I mean? So, but clearly they're still doing their thing. They're still going strong. So wonderful for them. But yes, she generally, this is her, this is how she does things, this is what she's known for. So that, and she's going to speak to in this clip here, these judgments on her because she said that she is a therapist. Like apparently this is known that she went to school for therapy, and people were like, "Oh, with her being a therapist, even though she's not licensed or practicing, they were like, with her being a therapist, it's crazy how she's talking to somebody like that, and all her problems with mental health and yada yada. You know, all the things. It's this is so typical. Like this situation is so typical in terms of a particular type of person with a particular type of background speaking in this way about people, and then people admonishing them, and then they come back and just basically like, oh yeah, I don't know why you're mad and you're giving me engaged, you know, all these things. So I'm gonna shut up and go ahead and let her talk on her own behalf.
Hi, mommy, baby girl. Hi. Y'all are really mad. I forgot how exhilarating it is to have this many people pissed off. It's been a while, so I just wanted to clear something up real quick. Like, please continue to have your hashtag discourse. But I'm seeing a lot of that's not appropriate for a therapist to say. What kind of therapist talks like that? I just want to be super clear that I am not a therapist. I have a master's degree in mental health counseling, but I am not licensed. I am not practicing. I do not see clients. And that's very deliberate. I did that on purpose because, number one, I never had any intention of changing careers. Therapists make a lot less than I do on average. And I went to school to learn, not to do something different with my life. I wanted to understand how my therapist was able to help me and do so. So it was just, therapy was really a changing experience for me. So I wanted to understand how she did that. And now I know. And I take that education with me. Obviously, it's impossible to separate that from my thoughts and feelings, whatever else. It obviously influences the things I have to say, but I am not a therapist. I haven't been a therapist since I graduated over a year ago. And so I did not want to be bound by all of the rules, regulations, ethics, moral standards, all that therapists have to worry about. I don't have to worry about because I got my degree and left. In New York, you had to do another 3,000 hours post-grad to be licensed. There's exams you have to sit for. I just was never interested in doing that. So I hope this helps. I'm assuming most of you who are mad are Cardi stans or super fans because I've said the same thing about Cam Newton, Nick Cannon, countless other men, even in the same episode. I went straight from dragging Nick Cannon to dragging Cardi B, but y'all are just mad about the Cardi thing, which lets me know this is for y'all to deal with respectfully. This is not on me. I'm very consistent when it comes to kids. I don't play about kids. And that is something that really got solidified in the pursuit of my degree. I learned a lot about child development and child psychology. And so I feel more strongly now than ever that y'all need to be doing right by these kids and not deliberately bringing them into chaos and confusion. So hope this helps. Really loving all this engagement. Keep it up. Thanks so much. Bye.
Okay. Yes, it's really bad. So why does she persist? Now, this is where I'm going to call bullshit. And this is as someone who I've said this I know recent sometime within the last 6 months or so that I came to the realization that I'm only in school because I want to be basically at this point in my life. You know what I mean? Like I in this economy and everything that's going on, I recognize that me being in school is not going to make me competitive. I'm 40 years old. You know what I mean? And that's I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm not saying that as a woe is me. I'm saying that from an objective perspective of the society we live in, the job market, everything that's going on. I'm in school for leisure at this point. You know what I mean? And that actually tickles me. I love that for me, right? So I'm gonna take a few steps back. When it comes to things that she said within her rant, right? Coming from the perspective of the person who wrote this book that I said and things that I have said in this book, there are things that she said that are in alignment. And any of those that have read my book that are here, you can, in the comments, let me know if this is true or not, if this rings true to you or not. There are things that she said that are in alignment and almost word for word some of the things that I say in my book in terms of being intentional about what you're doing, of recognizing that when you become a parent, there are certain things that you need to make yourself aware of and factor into your decision making. I don't disagree with that. There were a lot of things that she said outside of the nastiness and the unnecessary things that she said and the just generally mean, disgusting things she said. There are plenty of things that she said that I am like, if she wasn't having that conversation that she was having, I've had conversations where I've said the same thing. And I hope I'm being understood here, right? So it's not a thing of like, oh, she's just completely off base, but it's about the intent. It's about the intent. It's about being realistic about this. Goes back to what I was saying earlier in my intro: tone, audience, intent. Who are you talking to? Because you wouldn't be talking to her like that in her face. You get what I'm saying? Like, who exactly is this for? Is this supposed to be for Cardi? I would hope not. Because again, she would be well within her right to cuss you up, down, knock you in your head, whatever, because you're talking crazy to her. Like, you wouldn't be having a conversation with someone reasonable and reasonably not expect to get a fist run down your throat. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just not going to happen. So you're not talking to Cardi. Are you talking to women who, might be in the position of Cardi or, could be? Are you trying, is this a cautionary tale? Like, who are you talking to? Are you the Lorax talking on behalf of the trees in this situation being children? You know what I mean? Like, who exactly is it that you're talking to? That's something. And this is not just with her. This is something I find myself asking with a lot of people, with a lot of content creators, when I'm watching content and it's having these nasty vibes coming off of it. It's just like, who are you talking to? What purpose is this conversation you're having serving? Who is it serving other than you and your ego? And like I said, well, I didn't say, but I'm saying right now, it's not necessarily that I'm against people popping their shit off, but like, let's not play games about it. Like, let's just own it. Why y'all laughing at me? Don't let, this is serious business. This is president business. Okay. Why it just be unclear to me who you're talking to and what the purpose is of what you're like. If you're just running your mouth, are you just running your mouth? Because okay, but like, let's just know. And the part that bothers me is that once, like, if anyone ever gets questioned, then it changes. Then it's like, oh no, I was saying this, and why shouldn't be able to? hold Black women accountable, because that makes it try to sound important. You get what I'm saying? And if it's not an important conversation, then say that. But when you're talking about, oh, we're going to hold people accountable, now you're trying to make it into something that's important, something that's meaningful, something that is necessary. And that is where the discrepancy comes. I've said it before. Yes, business, numbers. That is where I have a problem, because it's like, when you call yourself getting up on a soapbox, when you call yourself spreading a needed message or something like that, then that puts a certain level of responsibility on you. And it puts a level of responsibility on you to, number one, again, be clear about who your audience is, who you're talking to, and also recognize that this is an energetic exchange. And if it's going to be a sadomasochistic kind of exchange, that's fine. But let's not lie about you get what I'm saying? Like, let's be very, very clear about what we're doing here. I think a lot of the problems with Black media is that, not just Black media, the Black community, relationships, community, all of these things, these breakdowns in how we relate to each other communally, and why we can't grow as a people and all that other stuff, is because we're all engaging in these energetic exchanges without clarity, with flimsy boundaries or non-existent boundaries. And this is something I talk about in my book. Because we don't know, we haven't had it modeled. We haven't had a lot of time to be able to like judge and determine what type of interactions we are willing to engage in. Marissa does a lot of work around women healing from having been in the corporate space. Like, a lot of what we take as normalcy has been abusive. And so we're just now kind of getting to a point where we're even able to say within ourselves, hey, this doesn't feel right. Hey, this actually is not normal. Hey, this is bothering me. This is killing me. This is hurting me, whatever. So we're in an infancy stage. We're in a early development stage in terms of dignity as a people. And so as we're coming to this new awareness of, like I said, even being able to articulate these things, we're just now going to be able to start unpacking and unwinding and understanding the dynamics that we've been engaging in. Let me know if that makes sense. Please let me know if there's anything I need to clarify. Channel said, I would love to see Crissle and Vitamin talk to each other about the child. She probably would curse me out, everything, call me all kinds of uneducated bitches and community college hacks and all that. Like, at some point you just gotta take people for what they are. You know what I mean? What they appear to be, what they present. So I don't know. I don't know about all that. She said, what I will say about the show is that they take on big topics, but they also have a read for pollen one spring. A read for pollen. You know what? But you know what? Who doesn't? Who doesn't have a read for pollen? Pollen be doing a lot. She running her mouth like she's on a reality show. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's like, I think that's my frustration when I was talking earlier about my frustration with Black media, and like me looking for other kinds of media, other more nourishing intellectually and everything media. Like, I'm tired of hearing about weaves and eyelashes and 50-50 dates and fit, fun and friendly and references to all the dating and BWE and all that. You know what I mean? It's like, is there anything else that Black people talk about? You know what I mean? Like, is it anything? I mean, and there are, like, I can get my little pockets and stuff. I'll be sharing with y'all the little cottage core Black women I'll be finding and this and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I have my taste or whatever, but I'm saying, like, it is disheartening that when I really want to engage with community and this and that and the other and talk to people, with the most energy is going towards these types of conversations. You get what I'm saying? The most stuff that's being shared and disseminated. And I'm saying this as someone who, like, when I hear people complaining about their feeds and stuff, I'll always say, well, actually my feed's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, I actually enjoy my feed a lot. I don't have as many things. Some of the things people be saying come across their stuff. I'm like, I don't even begin to know how you got connected to that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not it's more of a complaint of like variety and in depth when it comes to Black media. Does that make sense? And so it's a shame that when we see these conversations, and that's another reason why, I know I always got excuses, right? But that is another reason why I don't do content as often, because I personally am searching for a different way to speak about these things. You get what I'm saying? And also I want to point out too, back to what I was saying about what it is that you believe as a content creator or as a talking head, as someone that puts yourself up on a soapbox, what it is that you believe you are doing by discussing these things. That means you're responsible for how you discuss these things, which is another reason why you don't get a steady stream of content from me. Why? Because a lot of times I will see these things, and I had, as an individual person, as Kiana Denise Footman, I have my own reactions. I've been having my own reactions the whole time. I actually had got to a point where I was like trying to avoid stuff about Cardi B because I was getting annoyed both by everybody interacting with it and the way people were talking about it. This was before she verified that she was pregnant. I was getting annoyed by that, but I was also getting annoyed by her because I'm just like, if she, I had, again, a lot of the stuff that Crissle actually said, I don't necessarily disagree. I feel the same way, not going to lie. But at the same time, I recognize that it's not my place to get up on a soapbox, even if I wasn't on Level Up Single Mom. It's generally not my, like, who the heck am I? You know what I mean? Like, why does anybody need to hear me say that? Especially when there's so many other people saying that. That's number one. Number two is, when it comes to Level Up Single Mom, I said it again and I said it before. This ain't just about me. I created this space for a specific purpose, and that specific purpose is rooted in safety, psychological safety for single mothers, for Black women. And so I want to be someone that is trusted to have these kinds of conversations about these kinds of things. And I personally do not believe that speaking about these things in this way is how you do that. I personally do not believe that speaking about these things in this way is how you get to that place where children can be benefited by having happy, whole, safe mothers. Beating down on somebody is never going to be the way to build them up. It's never going to be the way to build them up. And so when I see this happening and I see so many people, it does really just feel like this thing of like, oh, I'm glad she said it, and that bold and emboldened sense of like, oh, well, now I can mask off. Mask can come off, okay? And I can really, because it's not just me. And it's really funny to me the way that we're sitting in the midst of this sharknado of a political climate where we're having so many people talking to and about us and telling us to our face, lying to our face, that they're not being racist, that they're not being fascist, that they're just having discourse, that it's not disrespectful, that we shouldn't be offended, about it's that age old parallel of like, you understand it when it's about racism, but you don't understand it when it's about misogyny or just misogyny. You know what I mean? Misogyny, noir. I know Cardi's not Black, but you get what I'm saying? Like, you understand it in this frame when you feel like it affects you, but you don't understand it in this frame of reference when you feel like that could never be you. It's annoying. It's tiresome. It's tiresome. You not tired, Miss Hilly? We was just watching. We was just watching The Help the other day. You not tired, Miss Hilly? I'm tired. Sorry, I just was I'm trying to catch up with y'all thingies. She said two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, two things can be true at the same time. And like I said, this is what I'm over here talking about. But I feel I'm frustrated because, like, on one hand, I'm frustrated with the people that are doing the talking, but I'm also frustrated with the audiences. And I know I've talked about this before, but I am frustrated with the audiences because I'm like, why are we all there? But I had to take a step back again, like even what I was just saying a few minutes ago about how we're all just kind of beginning to have those points of reference to be able to conceptualize what's wrong with these spaces we're in, that the fact that they're not normal, the fact that they don't really feel good, the fact that they don't feel good, but maybe we don't know where else to go to have these conversations. But that's what led me to create this space specifically for this specific purpose. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like and I am finding, offshoots of spaces that were before that I felt like I kind of had moved past beyond and were no longer interested in. I was saying maybe a couple lives ago that I was finding Black women creators that were having conversations, and maybe yes, they're still the same old conversations, but I'm like, oh, these women are really sharp, and they're bringing out points that other people weren't bringing out before. You know what I mean? Finer points that are now the norm, whereas before they would just be really poignant moments within these conversations. This is the level they're having the conversation on now. You know what I mean? So there is an evolution happening, but I guess I'm just still in that space of like, oh, I wish it would go a little faster. You know what I mean? I wish it would be a little more. I wish it was more widespread. But I'm frustrated with the audiences because, like I said, while I was making dinner tonight, I was thinking about how this information is disseminated. Like the fact that this woman, she said, "Oh, I like the fact that you're engaging. Thank you for engaging." It was very pompous. Like we didn't even get to talk about the overall air of her response. It was very pompous. It was very just nasty. Didn't like it, and oh, I'm unbothered, and oh yes, you're paying me anyway, type of thing. But it's the truth. I've seen my whole timeline is that clip over and over and over and over and over again. Like that's how it wound up getting to a point where I was like, you know what, let me talk about this because this is all everybody's talking about, and this does align with this platform, my platform. But that's what people are sharing. That's what people are sharing. That's what people are talking about. Everybody talks about the stuff that they're upset about. So many people are sharing things about the Charlie Kirk situation. You know what I mean? Like there's so much that goes around. Unfortunately, I'm pissed off. I had made it a good couple days without seeing that man shot. And then eventually it got me because people just keep sharing. You get what I'm saying? Like people just keep sharing the craziest stuff. What if we diverted our attention to the stuff that actually feeds us? What if we diverted our attention to the stuff we actually want to see? What if we can't find the stuff we want to see, we started creating it? What if that? What if we started putting our energy towards that? Channel says, concerned, I was responding to your comment about women, not just Cardi B. I've personally been affected by women flippantly getting pregnant without thinking it through. Okie dokie. Hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to catch up. Oh, wait. I can't. We'll see. Hopefully, y'all come up later. I will open the thing up later. Invincible Summer says, I think balance in content is important. I watch content about pop culture, politics, nerd culture, gay culture, etc. etc. Yeah, no, I watch a lot of different things. But I'm saying, like, it's unfortunate that because I don't always, sometimes I will back up off of different people's stuff because I don't want to be a voyeur. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be one of those people where I'm just ingesting this as entertainment, but this is real life for other people. You get what I'm saying? So, like, even I really enjoy Dominique. Why can't I remember her last name? Y'all know who she's on TikTok, the trans activist. And I enjoy her content, but I won't always allow myself to just sit because I don't want to get familiar in a sense of like, oh yeah, I watched Dominique, so now I know everything that's going on, and I can start forming opinions because people will think. This is part of the problem too of what we're talking about with Crissle and Cardi. This is part of the problem too. The more you ingest about something, the more you can sink into this belief that you know about it. You get what I'm saying? Even like what she was saying about her psychology degree. Oh, I went to school because I wanted to know how my therapist helped me. And I'm not saying she had to become a therapist, but to me, it just came off very much so like I couldn't just accept that I got the help from this professional. I needed to know how she did it, or I need to verify that she was doing it right. You get what I'm saying? And it's one of those things where it's like information, the way people use information, sometimes they use it to absolve themselves of responsibility while arming themselves with privilege. And let me know if that makes sense, or I need to reframe it. It says she seems like a nasty person, although I agree with much she said. Yeah. Devonda Pittman said, true different perspective and critical thinking people who don't overjudge others and give other people grace and not overreact. Hold on. We have to create our third space. Yep. Create the things. I purposely did not go on Twitter and TikTok when that man was shot. People are desensitized to that level of violence or have a morbid curiosity. Yeah, like I was so upset when it came. It just caught me out of nowhere. It was days and days. I was like, okay, I'm safe. I got too comfortable. It said, to be fair, Cardi B thrives off of people discussing her personal life drama. She always ramps it up in line with her project. Now, I will say, and that was something else, like my knee-jerk response again, and one of the reasons I was kind of like avoiding it and trying to get away from it, because it was giving me very much the situation with Halle Bailey. I felt like at the time, and I've said this on here, I felt like at the time, in a way, she was trolling in a similar way to DDG. But Cardi said something recently that I was just like, you know what, you absolutely right. She was saying, oh, she's gonna say it because we're gonna listen to her response. She actually did respond to Crissle, or I guess to Crissle mainly, but I think just the backlash all together. And it was just like, yeah, totally, I get it. Oh, this is y'all thing y'all talking about together. Hey, oh, you back up? Good. I'm off the phone. What I mean, girl, you want the replay. It's a lot. It's a lot. Oh, that's y'all. I'm gonna let y'all have y'all conversation. But yeah, what was I saying? It reminded me of Halle Bailey in that I felt like she was kind of trolling, and I also felt like while it's your business, it's your business, but I feel like there's something that people do, and not just famous people, because I've experienced it in my real life as well. And maybe that's why I felt like triggered by it. There's people do where like they want your engagement, but they don't want your full engagement. They don't want you to engage as an autonomous person. They want a specific type of engagement from you. And then when they get a little more than they bargain for, then they try to make you feel like you're doing too much. When it's like, I didn't have to know any of that. Like, I really didn't have to know any of this. And that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, I will be mindful if and when I feel like I'm absorbing too much information about something that A, I will never be able to fully understand, or B, I don't ever want to get into a point where I feel like I'm entitled to speak on things that I have no business speaking on, or from a position that is that oversteps the people who actually have the authority to speak about that thing. Say more where. You gotta be specific. She said, not gonna lie, having Cardi B respond to my podcast would give me the big hit for real. I mean, I suppose it not for you specifically, but like somebody that's saying something nasty about somebody, I'm sure they already have a big head about any. You saw how she responded to, you know what I mean? Like I would be so embarrassed if I were talking, just running off my mouth about somebody to the point where they felt like they had to address something I said, when I feel like when I did it from a space of like, I don't even think this person knows who I am. You know what I mean? Because I think that's something else too. People hide behind this belief that like, oh, well, this person is way too big for it to actually affect them in a negative same way as that lady who was on we was watching the thing, the mom who was messing with the daughter, and they was like, what if the daughter actually did what you were telling her to do in them text messages? Oh, she never would. And that's really the kind of mindset people have of like, oh, it's that person is too far away from me, that person is too privileged for me to be bothered with worrying about the real world effect this could have on them on their psyche if they could actually internalize it, right? And so for me, if I said something and somebody came back and earned, not like if they was coming and calling me all types of broke bitches or anything like that wouldn't bother me. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't phase me. But for somebody to come back and speak and say, you know what, actually that affected me in a negative way that had me thinking, like that would hurt. But again, I have empathy. I'm an empathetic person. So Hallie was early 20s, right at the beginning of her acting career exploding. She also had certain public image that Cardi has never had. Hallie had more to lose by getting pregnant. But that's the thing. And that in and of it, I get what you're saying, and I understand, and I agree in a general sense, objectively speaking, yes. But we're talking about human beings and how we view them in an objective sense of, on paper is not the same as people as individuals and human and their dignity and their, sovereignty and all of that other stuff. So Hallie is no better than Cardi as a human being. You get what I'm saying? And as a human being, when you're dealing with people, and I've said this so many times before, I recognize that desire, and which is one of the reasons why I just do not bother to want to be able to just trust, to want to be able to. I do feel like you should be able to just trust who you are with, to just trust who you sleep with, who you allow into your body. You get what I'm saying? I get that under different circumstances and with different what's it called, conditions, things that are going on, situational things, it's ill advised. You know what I mean? This is not me saying that it's always a good idea, but I'm saying the idea that a woman is just like, look, I'm in love with this person and this is who I'm with, and so I'm just going to trust this person, and I don't I can't say that that's a wrong thing to want to do, even if it's ill-advised in these particular circumstances. Hope I'm making sense. Fitness says, right, you don't get to dictate how people engage. Leave us out the group chat. Yes, like leave me out. If you don't want me forming an opinion, leave me out the group chat. They said, but she'll do anything for clout, remember? It says Cardi B always addresses people who address her. She monitors her mentions. I mean, yeah, they to sit and say, she said, yeah, they're both flawed individuals. It says, oh no, I don't think Hallie's better than Cardi. Not at all. I don't know these people. No, I'm not saying you do, but I'm saying like even that mindset of like to so we can view it like I said, viewing them on paper and viewing their stats, their star facts, like Carfax. So viewing their star facts, like yes, your assessment is spot on. Like Hallie had a more of a good girl image to maintain, and this and that and the other. So it's like the expectations of her would be different and stuff like that. But I'm saying like as an individual person, I don't see why Cardi wouldn't. They both should have felt like they had things to lose if we're talking about like an individual person. And I'll put myself in the hot seat. Like when I got pregnant both times, it was like I understood that I had things to lose and I was ashamed and I was like, oh, I should have known better. I should have done better. There's all these types of things, but yet and still I still did what I did. You know what I mean? So it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like on paper, Hallie had more to lose, but Cardi had stuff to lose. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing as a woman in this society. They both know and should have known that people was going to drag them. You know what I mean? And again, this is not something specifically like an admonishment of you, Summer. She said, wait, to my knowledge, Hallie hasn't called black women roaches, so that makes her better. I mean, that's fair enough. Mocha Mommy, hi. She said, this is my first time hearing of this. I just wish them the best and will continue to mind my own business. Yeah, I think that's the best thing for us all. Because Sir says, Will said. But yeah, like I it's really sad that I mean, and also I can't imagine. I cannot imagine what it would be like, because I know what I went through in terms of internally and the stuff I experienced from other people during my pregnancies. And that internal shame, paranoia, fear, all those things combined with the actual things that I can tell you happened people, the way certain people treated me, both in personal and professional settings and stuff like that. Like, it's not for the weak. So I couldn't imagine living in that kind of um hot box of a intensified scrutiny. You know what I mean? And always seeing you, and like being someone who with Cardi, everybody like, oh, she's pregnant, because she's getting all these pictures taken. And yeah, she wanted to get these pictures taken, right? You know what I mean? She's been a star. She's a fashion girly. She's always doing these things. I truly believe, and this is me. This is me. Thank you, concern. This is me giving you my personal opinion on it. I believe this was an oopsie baby. I hope this was an oopsie baby. I'm gonna be honest with you, because she said some things that you'll see later that it might not have been. But let's just say she's just getting swept up. She does very much so gives just I love, and like I said, I want to be in love, and I'm in love with you, so I'm just going to just full steam ahead with it. You know what I mean? So it's not a oopsie because it didn't have to be an oopsie, because she has more than enough resources for there not to have been an oopsie. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not doing everything that I could do to get pregnant, even though I wasn't necessarily trying to get pregnant. Mary G, while advocating for children and babies, she also is stressing out a pregnant woman and therefore affecting the fetus. When the children are older, then can hear this. But hey, what do I know? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, who is your audience? Who are you talking to? Realistically, like, that's the thing I want to ask these people sometimes when they're talking, because they'll get up there and everybody that wants to hop on that bandwagon of feeling superior at that moment, because hold on, take a step back. Content creators are avatars. Content creators are avatars for the people. She said, oopsie. Content creators are avatars for their audiences. They are amplifiers. They are what's that called? Bullhorns. The messages that we have are resonating with the people that gather around us, right? And on some level, the people that follow us are kind of living through us, or able to play out or work out certain things that they feel, think, whatever, on any different level. And that doesn't mean that, oh, you've had the exact experience, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's a resonance. There's a feeding and an amplification of some kind of energy there. And so when these people are talking, then I feel like the nastier people talk, then that means that the people there are just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, on some level, it's just like, yeah, that's how I feel, and say it just like that, and I want to hear it, and yeah, I want whatever the person that's giving it is feeling, those other people are also plugging into, right? And so when we have these people talking in these egotistical ways, like I said, in these opinionated ways, with very little thought or responsibility for the people that they're talking to and or about, that is amplified, by the people sharing, by the people in the comments going, yes, this is exactly how I feel, and yes, that's right, and so it becomes a lot stronger, a lot broader, the reach is far. You get what I'm saying? It's very intense. It's a whole lot of energy. And I just feel like we need to be more intentional. Like I said, it's time to make people stand on their shit. It's time to make people stand on their shit. It's time to talk about the implications. And I usually just say this about men when I'm talking about scrutinizing men and stuff. But no, it's time to talk about the implications of what we're doing to each other. It's time to talk about the implications of not being more intentional about how we interact with each other. And yes, that should start. The foundational part should be how we are with our children, because the children don't have to be here, and they're only here because we bring them, because of the choices we make, the choice we make for them to bring them here, right? So in that, like I said, me and Crissle are aligned. But just because I chose to bring a kid here and you didn't, or you haven't right now, that does not make you superior to me simply because you sat out the game. That's number one. Number two is even if you did, just because you have a husband that you're holding on to for dear life. Or a husband that is a good husband, but you know what I mean? Like there's all these different differentiators that people use to say, oh well, it's not enough for me to enjoy the privilege of or the pleasure of whatever it is I'm having that I'm using as a booster for me above you. I also have to remind you, everyone needs to know and interact with me in a way that affirms to me that I am superior to you because of this differentiation. You get what I'm saying? Like that is really, and this isn't just about kids. This happens in all different kinds of ways. Again, this is exactly what's happening with these conservatives and what we're fighting against and everything like that. Hey, production inquiry, how you been? I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays. So it's really about the implication. It's time to like stare people in the face and go, who are you talking to? Because a lot of time when people are sitting behind people are sitting behind these microphones, sitting in front of these screens or whatever like that, they're not having to answer that question. It's a whole personal story. I remember when I was a young mother out here scrapping in the world and I was on welfare and I had to go to the welfare office. And I remember that they used to have like these plexiglass windows where you would go up and you would talk to the people and you would tell them what you need or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And they would have them, in the front when you first went up or whatever. And they would also have them in the back when you were talking to the caseworker. Like there would be something between you and the people. And I remember them people would be nasty. Like the first time I ever went to a welfare office, I remember the lady was like asking me all the intake questions. And she was asking me like, oh, well, what's your income and this, that, and the other. I'm like, I don't have an income, blah, 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 blah. She's like, well, where do you get your toiletries and this and that and the other from? And I was like, well, my grandma helps me and this and that and the other. And I remember her saying like, well, it couldn't be me. That's not a part of your job. You know what I mean? Like, so it's that type of stuff. And I just remember people were being very nasty. Then they had this whole thing where they redid the offices and this and that and the other. Next thing you know, next time I went, those windows were gone. It was just you across the thing from the person. Don't you know them people started being sweet as pie? You get them people started being sweeter about you because I used to sit back and watch. And there was always at least every time I went, there was always at least one person that would act a whole monkey. That would be yelling and screaming all up and down the thing. There would always be at least one person. So what I'm saying is once there was a means of reaching out and touching these people, customer service miraculously went up a few good notches. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's one of those things where there's this separation where people don't have to be mindful, where they feel safe in not being mindful. They feel safe in ingesting these details about people's lives and feel absolutely no responsibility towards these people who they are feeding off of. You're eating off of this woman. You talking about the engagement. Why? Because the engagement brings you money and brings you notoriety. Thank her. Because if she wasn't doing what she was doing, you wouldn't have nothing to talk about. Thank her. And if you're going to use her likeness, and if you're going to use her story, and if you're going to use, the least you could do is be mindful of how you talking on this lady. That's the least. Why are y'all laughing? What is funny? What is funny? Y'all crack me up. Mary G says, I'm a bit behind in the live and I'm watching it 2 times speed. That video posted by Crissle makes it worse. Oh my God. Yeah, it's horrible. She said, you ain't lying about the social worker who project on you, especially nurses who act like me. Yeah, I'm here. There's so many things. And it's like, and mind you, this is me coming from with a 2-decade long, maybe a little bit more years, customer service background. I know, the stressors of customer service in all different kinds of phases and all different kinds of angles. I've worked all different kinds of customer service positions, right? So I understand the stressors of customer service, right? But at the end of the day, my dear, the person that's calling you, like unless the person calls and is being rude and everything, that's one thing, right? But in a general sense, if somebody's calling you, especially people who call, like recently, I had something going on, and because I worked in customer service, I knew I made sure I knew every aspect of what I wanted and how to ask the question and everything like that, trying to make the situation as streamlined as possible. And guess what? I feel like the person was annoyed with me because I knew enough about the process for them not to be able to just tell me anything and me let it go. You get what I'm, so it's like, it's one of those things, like, we just, the way we interact with each other, it's just so crazy. Summer says it's also a subconscious thing. A glass barrier creates a separation like an animal in the zoo. It's easier to dehumanize people that way. Yes. And it's the glass barrier. So it's that psychological thing. It's also this idea of like, oh, I'm at work and you're just here begging for something. Even though me being here gives you the opportunity to have something to do, to be paid for. You get what I'm saying? Like, so you can disengage from the way we're actually interacting that benefits you to just feel superior. It's time for us to really start questioning the dynamics, the paradigms we're using, the spin on it, and like being willing to shift into a more human, communal perspective. Because these are the same people that'll sit and say, "Oh, you know, these kids don't hit," because you think they're animals. You think they come from animals. You think their mothers are animals because there's not a man. Because there's not a man there. You think they're lesser than. You think they don't deserve for you to get the full list of stuff that the teachers give us. You know what I mean? You think that you and yours deserve more, that they shouldn't be able to get treats and candy and juice and soda and things that aren't just, vegetables and protein and legumes and beans. You know what I mean? At the store because they're on food stamps. You get what I'm like? It's all those ways of thinking. Meanwhile, the people that's really pulling the strings got throwaway money to shoot shit up into space and formulate ways to extract every freaking resource and destroy this planet while they search for another one to take themselves to. But you want to bicker with people about the goddamn Mountain Dew in their cart. But we could talk all night about this. Let me go. Cardi did respond. It says the entitlement people have over other people's lives, like it's like having a parasocial relationship with people and strangers. Yeah. So I'm on Team Spur Bay. So Cardi did respond to all of the discourse and Crissle herself. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share that. I should go up, shouldn't I?
Hi, guys.
Not you, girl. Oh no, that's not it. Hold on, let me find it. I gotta make sure. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
I think people like wanted me to leave my old relationship and then like be single for like 2 years and then come back out and date a rich white billionaire and move to Dubai and shit like that, whatever the fuck. But that's not me. That's not what's going on in my life right now. However, right now in my life, I'm very happy. I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. And I did, and I have my choices. I do choices. Whatever is my choices is my destiny. You know what I'm saying? One day I might be happy. The next year I might not. But you know what? I make that choice, and I'm a grown woman, and I do and it is what it is. But one thing about my choices in life, one thing I don't ever regret is my kids. So I really don't give a fuck. To me, my kids is always gonna be a blessing. And another thing is that it's like some people have so many different opinions about what I do, right? I might not be the best. Well, I feel like I'm the best at everything I do. But some people might have opinion on my work, right? You might think I'm not the best dressed. You might not think I'm the best rapper. You might not think I'm the best at something. But one thing, nobody could fuck with me or tell me is about my motherhood. Like that title, I'll beat bitches up for that title because one thing I know I am is I'm a great mother. And I take a lot of pride for that. I think people don't understand. I don't know what people think. Like, do people think I live in Miami and my kids live in New York and like we far, far away from each other? No. I live with my kids. I live in New Jersey. My kids live in New Jersey. And let me tell you something about motherhood, right? Unless a man has you put up to be a housewife and you don't have a job and you wake up every single day to be a housewife and be a house mom and everything, you always gonna have to sacrifice some time to work and make money. Like for example, right? My schedule is different, but most women in America in the world, they have a 9 to 5. So because they have a 9 to 5, a lot of women spend time away during that 9 to 5 from their kids. Some of them cannot even pick them up at 3 o'clock. Some of them cannot drop them off to school because they, they got to be at their work at 9. That's what happens when you're a mom and you have a job. You sacrifice some time. So don't tell me that it's like, oh, you're not raising your kids because you got all this work. What are you talking about? When I had my daughter, Culture, and I was doing four to five different shows in a week, I had my kid with me. Then of course COVID came and everything, but I'm always with my kids. I live with my kids. You could see it in the attitudes of my children. Like my me and my kids are like best friends. Like because I see them almost every day, every single day. They know me and I know them very well. This ain't no nanny, this and that shit. Like, yes, I have people that help me with my kids, but this ain't no, oh, I just dropped them off and somebody else is raising them for me. It's very clear that that's not what I do. Um, Second, sorry, I'm getting my makeup done. Like a bitch can't tell me, no woman can tell me, especially a woman that don't have kids, can tell me what it's like to have kids and what I do. No, nobody can tell me. No bitch can tell me about motherhood. They don't have no fucking kids. So don't even do that. Sorry, I'm getting my makeup done. Like for real. And this is another thing too. Every single time I'm knocked up and everything, like this is why I wait to say that I'm knocked up when I'm like almost done with my pregnancy because so many people wish you, not even wish you, so many people just put so many negativity on your pregnancy. If you are a Barty gang and if you are a Barty gang, when I came out and I said I was pregnant with Culture, so many bitches started picking on me and started like trying me while I was pregnant. Then when I said I was pregnant with Wave, when I said I was pregnant with Wave, yeah, I used to see how bloggers the next day they would start doing saying the most crazy and absurd shit. Like they love to pick on you when you're knocked up. That's why I don't even like saying that I'm knocked up when I'm knocked up because it's like people just like to pick on you. They wish bad on you. They try to bring you stress. They try to bring you stress, not only stress, but they might wish you something so nasty on you and in your life that is weird. Like for example, like why would you say, and I hope you don't die on a mommy makeover, and you know I got 4 kids, and that's another narrative about me that is kind of weird that you guys say that for a woman to say because this how I know you don't know me. After I gave birth to my son, I ain't got surgery. I did surgery 2 years after on my body. And with Blossom, I didn't have surgery after Blossom at all. I didn't get surgery after Blossom. I didn't. I didn't touch my body one time. So you just saying things just to say things. And as a grown woman in your 40s with no kids, you talking about, and I hope you don't die on a table, knowing that I have 4 children. Because like it's just very dark and it's very nasty. And like I said, I do understand, because I do understand how people kind of want have an expectation of me and kind of wanted something from me, but it's like, I don't know. It's just, that was just kind of disgusting to, to say about me. And then like to play with my motherhood, like, bitch, you could fucking never, ever, 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 ever. Yes, women with jobs have to sacrifice time away from their kid. It's no different from a 9 to 5, baby. You don't think women that don't have a 9 to 5 wish they could wake up, take the kids to school, go to Pilates or take a nap until it's time to pick the kids up, and then just cook and read them a bedtime story and blah blah blah. That's not everybody's reality. You don't know that though, because you don't have kids. Me, I don't have a 9 to 5, but there's times that it's like, okay, I have to sacrifice a week or two away from my kids so I can make this bread so they can have a good life. My kids are smart as fuck. My kids have everything that I never had. And you know what? It's more, and you're right. It is more than just like, oh, she have money. She have money. She could raise them. Blah blah blah. It's more than money. But guess what? Besides money and besides me providing for my kids, I also give them a lot of time and a lot of love. That's why you see that my daughter is super attached to me. That's why my son loves sleeping next to me, tucked with me. My daughter too. And my new baby, she loves me. So you can't talk to me about my motherhood, baby girl. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I don't know if you upset at yourself at life because you have an expectation of yourself. You wanted something for yourself and you don't have it. But don't put that shit on me. Cause I could judge you. I could be talking about what you was doing when you was 33. You know what I'm saying? That's none of my business. And if you want to be in my business, I get it. Cause I am a celebrity, but you're not gonna be wishing all type of weird shit on me. And you're not gonna be talking about what I take pride in the most. Cause I don't play that shit. No nigga can fucking play me. No bitch can ever play me on this shit. And that's a fact. It's weird. And then y'all wonder why, oh my gosh, Cardi, you big. We know you're pregnant and stuff like that. Let me say it in my time, because so many people wish you so many crazy ass shit. Like, why are you crying that I'm locked up? Like, it's like, is this your fucking baby, bitch? How you mad at me, bitch? And I'm happy for myself. I'm happy. I'm excited. I love every fucking kick, even if it fucking hurt me, bitch. Every kick, every punch, every elbow, I love. And you out here just saying the most weirdest shit. Like, come on now, bitch. Why would you say like, hope you don't die? Just fucking weird. It's kind of weird. But again, um again, I could flame and violate, but it's like I'm not even on that fucking type of time. I feel very, very, very blessed right now. I feel very, very blessed. Streams are doing good. Sales are doing good. My album is doing amazing. In the name of Jesus Christ, everything at home is going really, really smooth. I'm having a very smooth week. I'm having a very good week. And I feel very, very loved by so many fans that I'm meeting every single day. I mean, I know my online fans are showing me so much love. And then like when you see fans also in person, and it's like, wow, so many people love me, so many people support me. And that's all that matters. And by the way, to my fans online and offline and everything, y'all my kids, aunts and uncles, so y'all already know what's up when it comes to these motherfuckers. Y'all have another one too. Okay. All right. So it's important for me to tell y'all to get busy on iTunes and them digitals. And also I have to get the stores. I have to get the stores that y'all gotta go purchase the CDs or the vinyls all over America. Okay. So thank you so much for that. And
All right, that's enough. That's we got the meat and potatoes, right, of what's going on. So first off, I want to say I was very proud of her. I was proud of her because knowing how she's responded to other things before, like she was just really chill, and it's probably because she's like, I'm trying to keep my, my blood pressure down for the baby and every. Yes, love the plug, exactly. That's how you gotta be, and she's inspiring me. Get my book, y'all. Get my book, y'all. Cause she do, and like she's a. First of all, you gotta remember her background is well, she was a stripper, but her background is in social media. She was a social media. That's how she got on Love and Hip Hop. So that's when she's always been a hustler. She's always been someone who rely a lot on her personality. Production inquiry says she's mentally fine. She was always open like this. I think some people are bothered because she'll address it. I mean, yeah, but just because people are able to mask and I'm not saying like I don't know her personally, right? But I am saying like we've had this experience before with people that is like, oh, just because they seem fine, that doesn't necessarily mean that people should put undue stress on people. Just because people can take it doesn't mean that they should have to take it at that level. You know what I mean? Um, Why is this not okay? To be careful with her fans and being too parasocial with their kids. They not aunts and uncles. At 33, she's probably done with kids. Somebody says she wanted a bunch of kids. And I have some other clips of her talking because I do have things that I would want to point out. Because I'm paying attention to it, because it's coming up in my feed, things that I see. I do have things that I have opinions on. I do have things that concern me or, understandable that people may have these same concerns, that people may see these same things that I see, that I would like to, highlight. But this is not a thing of like, oh, but she should be ashamed of herself. Like, it doesn't have to be all that. Like, I feel like there's a way to discuss these things and say, hey, this is what I see. This is what I'm concerned about. This is what I have experienced, and yada, 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 so forth and so on. I don't feel like this is a good idea. I feel like this is ill advised, all the things, without it being what Crissle did. Chocolate Bubblegum says, I love her personality. She seems like a lot. Yes, and that has always been my stance on her. Like, even when, like I said, she has done things that I'm like, okay, I'm kind of over you. I will see something where it's just her being her, and I'm like, see, this is what I like about her. You know what I mean? And that, like that is what it is. That's her personality. And I like her personality. She called folks aunts and uncles because she expects her fans to give me money. Well, I will say, when I was doing hair, I remember I was working in a salon with a bunch of people, and I remember like the way I am with y'all is the way I am with anybody that I interact with. So I had people that like my clients and stuff, and I remember one time I was talking with my other coworkers, and I said something about, oh, these are my friends, and then they was like, they're not your friends, they're your clients. I don't see it that way, and it doesn't mean when I say you my friend, it doesn't mean like, oh, do you need to know where I live, all those types of things. No, but I'm going to treat you just like I said. It can be a depersonalization that makes people treat people a certain way when you make it more of a communal thing, when you're like, oh no, I do have a connection with you, and I'm acknowledging this connection, and I'm, giving it something, making it something tangible for myself, then I'm going to treat you better. I'm going to treat you different. I will hope. Now, do she get to calling people roaches and cussing people out and this and that and the other? Yeah, but I'm saying again, that's a whole much more of a pressure cooker situation than I've ever been in. And honestly, I don't want to be in, right? It's a lot more intense energy that's being, disseminated. But she seems, like I said, like a personable person that when you meet her, if you were around her, that's what drew me to her. Is like she seemed like one of them people that's like, if we can be friends, I would like to be friends. And that's how I am. Like, if we can be friends, I would love to be friends. The more the merrier. It's just that, as I get older and wiser and start to see certain things, you'll see me be like, I don't like that person. I don't know why I don't like that person. Or I learned something else about a person I did like, and I just kind of pull away. That's just life, though. She said, "Oh, not at all, but she'll come out and speak. That's her pattern. It actually wrestles control away from the public to craft your own narrative." Yeah. So she's dry begging in a way. What public facing person isn't dry begging? Communism, not communism. Capitalism is dry begging. It's just a lot of posturing and trickery and everything to make people feel like you're giving value. And I've been thinking, I've had these conversations before. I think I was talking to Alicia the other day about it, but like, yeah, this economy, the people that make the most money are the people that make you, ooh, child, that's something else. We need to watch this in the what's the face in the Discord. But I was watching this thing about like consumerism, and they had like the former head of Adidas and Apple and like other business, Amazon. She helped set up like the Amazon website and stuff, and about consumerism and how all this stuff is set up to make you consume and consume and consume, but there are no kind of checks or balances about the waste and all that other stuff. So what I'm saying is, like, in this society, this capitalist society, all these things that we think of people, oh, they're creating jobs and they're doing this and they're doing that. Yeah, it's like that's where we live in. You do this or you don't eat. And my dumb self having scruples and being so empathetic and being, I'm not dumb. I love that about me. But you know what I mean? Like, I've told you so many times, there's so many different ways I could be, my situation could be very different. It could be a lot less intimate. You know what I mean? And I could be doing certain things that other people do that get, those results that I refuse to do, because ultimately I started this to do something else. I started this with the intentionality. And this goes back to saying, who are you talking to? Why are you talking to them? What is it that you're trying to do? And if you really truly believe you're doing some good, what exactly is it that you think you're doing? I have to stay on top of myself to always make sure that I'm in alignment with all of those things that I am aspiring to. And so that's going to make it go slower. That's going to make me have to, I can't, I can't just coast on what the masses just respond to by default. You know what I mean? Like, we, as a society, our defaults are fucked up. But again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about us just be having an awakening about what it means to have dignity, what it means to respect oneself, what it means to have standards and boundaries and expectations and all what that actually means, what that looks like in practice, and what it's going to mean about how you live your life and the defaults. Scamming is where the money's at for real. Scamming and pressing on people's emotional buttons. Like that lady, Chrissy's, oh yes, I'm glad you're engaging. She knows she said, I forgot how exhilarating it is to piss people. You get what I'm saying? Like, even just saying that made me sick to my stomach. But that is what Twitter is. And I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter. I don't give a damn. That's what Twitter is. That's what social media is. That's why our shade room. That's why Tyler Perry. You get what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that anybody and everybody that it seems like that makes the most money off of the Black community is able to just tap into those baser ass instincts within us, and we all go like sheep. And that something inside me is making me cry. What's that from? A Raisin in the Sun? Something inside this me is making me cry, son. You know what I mean? It's making me sad. It makes me sad. It makes me so sad. It's crazy. She said it gives publicity stunt. That's what I was thinking before she actually came out, was like, yeah, you got me, I'm pregnant. Yeah, just wanted to highlight Cardi knows how to get her bag, keep promoting vibe. Well, actually, you know what? And since you brought that up, I'm going to segue into, I was going to save this for like the end, but I wanted to say this. And I always talk about like how I pay attention to how the other people are growing, the people that we talk about, some of us show disdain for within these spaces that get the most traction. But the truth is, they get the most traction because the people that come there in their triggered state, in their maybe not so woke state or whatever, they just respond to the stuff and they share it. They share it. They talk about it. They dialogue about it. They insert it into conversation. I could be somewhere else a whole nother platform, and I'll see people talking about people that I know from here. You know what I mean? I'll see people, oh yeah, so-and-so says this. Oh yeah, so-and-so said that. I'll see them sharing Shira 7. Shira 7, her clips. And not just the people we may like or, you know, have overlapping audience or interest with or whatever. We may not, some people don't like Share 7 here, and that's fine. You know, but I'm saying, like, not just the people we like or know about or that are adjacent to people that we like or know about, but the people we hate. Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels, Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. There's no reason I should know who Candace Owens is. Because I don't watch her. I would never watch. You get what I'm saying? But I know who she is. Why? Because people share her shit. People share it because they hate it. People share it because they're angry about it. People share it because they don't disagree with it. We do all this stuff. And some people share it, you know, because they like it and stuff. But a lot of what pushes these people is the upset. So when we get back to talk about intentionality, we get back to talk about creating more of what we want to see in the world. I am opening up a perspective to you guys that, and this is not, you know, I want to be clear, this is not me admonishing you or anything like that, because I know y'all just here hanging out. And that's what I do. We just here hanging out. And a lot of this stuff we just do, you know, just instinctively, just because. But I'm saying, I'm asking you to join me in being intentional. I'm one person. I go different places. If I recognize that the conversation is something about, you know, that has something to do with my book or something to do with something I've said on here or whatever, I'll take the time and clip my stuff and put it there and be able to create a stream to refer to it. But I need y'all help. I need y'all help. I know y'all out here seeing this stuff. If you see something and it reminds you of something I said, please clip it and share it. Please, you know, drop a link. Please mention my name and tag me. You know what I mean? Because this is going to help me in different ways or whatever. But this is also about, like, we're all concerned about what's going on. We're all concerned about the state of things. We're all concerned about the way people are talking about things and talking to and about us. And if we want to see different things, then this is something that you guys can help me to do, because I'm doing what I can. And you can help me. You don't even have to come up here and talk. You don't have to make your own thing. Again, use me as an avatar. If I'm saying things that sound like more of the things you want to hear, share it with other people so they know. Because I'm seeing people talking. Like I said, I see the conversations that are being had. Oh, thank you. She said, no, I get you. But I'm saying, like, anything, it doesn't matter what it is. If you ever saw anything that I ever said, past, present, that you're like, oh yeah, I remember Vitamin talked about this or whatever, blah, 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? She said, I do that by sharing people content. Yeah, because that's how, that's how stuff. And like I said, it's not necessarily that I'm trying to go viral. I'm not worried about going viral, but I am worried about reaching the people that need to hear this, reaching the people that still don't know that there's a space like this, that want a space like this, reaching the people that only know of the Crissles and the other people that talk like this about them, about people they care about, you know what I mean? That are disheartened by the conversations that are being had, that think that Black women aren't really safe, that Black women can't be friends, that Black women aren't really a community. So people literally uterus watch Cardi. They're desperate for attention. Yeah. She says, sprinkle, please. That's how they do it. Hold on, I'm trying to see that. Oh, I thought I missed something. Yeah. So I'm appealing to you guys. I'm putting it on your sideburns, just making you aware that if and when you come across a conversation, you go, oh yeah, Vitamin was talking about that. Please clip it and share it. Clip it and share it. Drop the link. You know what I mean? Get in the comment, even if you don't necessarily want to clip or share or whatever. Just go in the comments of any of my videos or whatever and leave a comment. Engage with the stuff, because these algorithms are part of. There was something I was watching today on TikTok. It was a TikTok about how they learned how to program people through the algorithms and stuff by watching what they were doing in the Philippines for the 2020 election. And so they had it all together by the 2024 election. And they were saying that like people thrive off of misinformation and lies and this and that and the other. So that means that we're going to have to have an intentional, concerted effort to counteract the evil, flat out evil that we already see. It's come to a fever pitch, the evil they've been able to do with this technology. And so what I'm saying is that as the intelligent women we know we are, as the loving, caring, community-minded women we know we are, that we need to be strategic about how we're utilizing these tools. I see social media as a tool. I see social media as a tool, and I try to use it as such. And so I'm asking you to partner with me in using social media as a tool by just keeping in mind the objective. Again, logic is subjective to your objective. If you're somewhere in a conversation, a subject comes up, use me as a reference. You know, we talk about points of reference here. I've now, as someone who's put her hat in the ring as a thought leader, I'm now a point of reference. Use me as such. So that way, the people that need me can find me. So that's my little rant. That's my little plug. It'll come again at the end of the thing, but thank you so much for bringing it. Yes, girl. I was watching, fun fact, out of nowhere. I was on TikTok the other night, and I don't know if you guys know Alexander Rogers. He has the Allegedly show, and he also has Pop Roast with Chris. I know Erica De Niro knows them, but I used to watch them back in the day. And they're another, you know, catty kind of the read type thing, which is funny enough. I stopped watching them a few years ago, like after a year or two of watching them, because I was like, all right, now this feels mean. I couldn't enjoy it anymore because it was feeling kind of mean, right? But anyway, I saw Alexander Rogers on TikTok. He was doing a live, and he was talking about his mother. And his mother was one of the 3 degrees, I believe. I know she was a singer, but I believe she was one of the 3 degrees. So his mother, he was talking about his mother. I was like, oh my God, that is so, you know, fun fact, small world. I said TikTok brought by the Murdoch family who owns Fox News. Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with that too, but I'm just, whatever we're utilizing, wherever we are, if you're on TikTok, if you're on Facebook, because I'm on Facebook, Level Up Single Mom is on Facebook. So if you're still on Facebook with your grandmom and your aunties and your cousins and you know, your cousin that just got out of jail or whatever, go ahead. I have stuff there. My lives are there. My live is streaming to Facebooks right now. So I'm saying, like, whatever you use, yes, it is a tiny world. Whatever you use, I'm there. Utilize me, share me. You know what I mean? Because we need more and more people. And this is my thing. And it was Alicia I was talking to. Or so I don't remember who I was talking to specifically. When I used to do hair and I had aspirations of like one day having a salon or something like that. I never wanted to be one of them places where it was just like, oh, I'm gonna trap you there, and then like I don't want you to work nowhere else, and I don't want you to be able to become your own stylist or whatever. I was like, no, if I'm going to do it, I want to be like a Vidal Sassoon. I want to be like a Vita Institute. I want to be one of those places where when people say, oh, I worked at such and such and such, that speaks to your level of expertise. They know you were trained well. They need a qualification. You know what I mean? It's a credential for it does there. You get what I'm saying? And so that's what I wanted to be here, the with you guys. And I love my little bubble with, but I want to step up and talk about these we met before and making had their own platforms or whatever it is, but we all come together and converge, and we're even stronger together. So what I'm saying is we need to build this community so that we can find the new people to create these spaces, so that the people who've been sitting around waiting, because I swear for the Lord, I know a lot of people been sitting around waiting for these new spaces. They've been waiting for these new conversations, these higher level conversations that nobody's having. So we need to be able to build this network so more people know. So that's why I'm begging, I'm pleading, I'm asking, whatever you need. whatever you need it to be. To disseminate this information, disseminate these conversations, and let people know we're here so that we can, do this stuff. But anyway, get off my little soapbox. Let's go to Barty talking about some other things. So I want to talk about, like I said, we already talked about the admonishment of talking to people crazy or whatever. But I want to get into the real meat and potatoes and the real value of the conversation, which I think is actually addressing the issues. Girl, I never took Red Note off. I just haven't been back on it. But listen, you already know I'm not playing with them. I don't care about these white man games. I'm sorry. I want to talk about the issues that, the red flags, and the reason, because it's when we have these conversations, and especially when people are talking so nastily about other people, it's like it's easy to dismiss one way or the other, right? And so in the midst of saying that you don't get to talk to people like that, there's also conversations that I do feel like could be had, needs to be had, are important to have about, to Crissle's point, or the rational part of her points, being more intentional about our reproductive freedoms. And I'm saying this as someone who, like I said, had my own struggles, issues with being accountable in that way, and had to come to an understanding and awareness that I was fucking up. Like, not even going to mince words. I was fucking up. And when I was fucking up, not only was I fucking up, in terms of myself, but I was fucking up in terms of my child. I only had one child at the time. And I was fucking up in terms of my village. Because that is something that I don't think, and I saw somebody, let me see if it's in my pinned comments. Somebody had mentioned it. No, that's not what it was. Well, somebody had mentioned, about the community that helps her or whatever like that. And it's just like, yes, one of the things that I had to have come to Jesus, recognition about within my own situation was the idea that, like, we do owe something to the people that we expect to help us and that help us. I do feel it's a two-way street. So when you're saying, yes, from a position, I'm in need, I need help, this and that and the other, yes, you do need help. And I feel like if people have the capacity to help you, whether it's resources, and or just support, emotional, mental, psychic support, that it would be nice and preferable and moral and kind for them to help you. But you also have to recognize, like, I talk about privilege all the time, and I talk about privilege in a way where it's like you don't always recognize the privilege that you have. It is a privilege to have a village. It is a privilege to have someone care for you. Because even though it's one of those things that I feel like should be available to all of us, community should be available to all of us, help should be available to all of us, it's still a privilege to have it. And we need to treat it as such. So when we're in situations where we are just like I was saying, like, oh, just because Cardi has the capacity, it seems like, to be able to deal with this stuff emotionally, mentally, and everything, that doesn't necessarily mean it's right to burden her with having to operate at that, at the height of her capacity. That's the same thing for the people that help us. She said I could pull out my tarot cards for psychic support. Please stop. So I do feel like it's important and it's pertinent for those of us who need help, who recognize that we need help, to also be mindful of the level of the capacity of those that are already helping us to help us. So that means if you already have, a bunch of kids or even one kid, be mindful about making more kids. If you know that you can't handle that, you're going to need more people. Don't just be having kids with the assumption that, oh, well, somebody's going to help me. You know what I mean? Like, that is something, if you're somebody who needs that kind of help, if you're not someone like Cardi who can afford to compensate people to help you monetarily, you know what I mean? I do believe that is something that you need to be mindful of. And I do believe that that is a conversation worth having. That is a fair conversation to have. It's not a fair conversation to have with people who are showing up like Crissle showing up. You get what I'm saying? I don't owe it. None of us owes it to be having that kind of a conversation with someone who's talking to them crazy like that. Let's be clear about that. Nobody owes you shit for you to talk to them like that. But I do feel like that is a valid concern. That's a valid conversation to be had. And a man is not a plan. In a lot of cases, men are liability solely for the purpose that they can get you pregnant. That makes, right then and there, that makes men a liability. I believe that wholeheartedly. That makes men a liability. As you can see, and as we're going to see, like Cardi's going to be talking about, oh yeah, we were just having fun and blah, 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 blah. But see what happened. So just for that reason alone, men are a liability. But if you want to enjoy the benefit of community, part of enjoying the benefit of community is behaving as a part of the community and being mindful of the strain that you're putting on the community. And that would be the same. We're talking about babies right now, but that would be the same thing if there was a let's say there was some kind of a problem and we're all in one, enclosed space and there's a certain ration of food. You don't get to just snack for leisure in a situation like that. We have to be mindful of what we have to disperse amongst each other, right? Energy is the same way. Energy, time, resources. What Cardi was saying about her working and still having to rely as a working mother, any working mother, having to rely on a village to help them because they always have to make these concessions and arrangements or whatever due to work obligations. I don't miss that. I do not miss that. That was one of the worst things for me and the most stressful. Like even now I feel my chest tensing up when I think about the ways that I had to factor in my work schedule around trying to factor in a work schedule around my kids' schedule, but being limited because I'm not Cardi B, right? I'm not someone who has the kind of situation, or I wasn't, not the kind of person that had the kind of situation where I had a flexibility of schedule. I was kind of at the mercy of whatever jobs I could get and having to maneuver around those things. And so that's a very true thing. If you are a working mother, just because she's a rich person and you see her jet setting and wearing all this stuff, it's still any working. It's even worse. It's even worse when you're not someone who has as much flexibility and financial resources to mitigate these things as Cardi B does. Because she has enough money so where her mom and them don't have to work. She need her mom, her mother, her family to be there with her children. Her family can be there with her children. But what about when you come from a family where everybody has to work? Or when certain people are too sick to be able to help you in that way with your children. And nobody has the money to get them well enough to be able to do so. You get what I'm saying? Those are the types of things I'm talking about when we're talking about being mindful of our community. I get that you want to be in love. I get, like I said, I totally understand this idea of, I want to be in love. And when I'm in love, I should be able to trust this person and yada, yada, yada. And we should be able to live our lives and this and that and the other. But you have to factor in the realities of your situation. And if you already have children, like it's one thing you don't have kids and you're kind of living in la la land and hopeful thinking, wishful thinking, everything in hindsight, blah, 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 blah. But when you have children, that is a reasonable. That is a reasonable, rational concern and upset for your community. Again, being clear, your community does not necessarily involve these blowhards that are just talking and capitalizing off of triggering people through you, talking about you online. That's not who I'm talking about. But I'm talking about, the girlfriend that you always call in for this or that or the other, the sister, the auntie, the grandmom. You get who may or may not have their own household, children, situations just like yours. You get what I'm saying? Again, this is not about shaming anybody. This is not about saying, oh, you should never need anything. This is about, again, being mindful. For me, whenever I'm dealing, because I've been so blessed with the friends and family and stuff that I had, the community I've built, and how we all would just come together and just make shit work, right? But for me, it's always been about, there were some friends who I would help a little bit more with certain things. Like there were some friends that I had who, when I was living on my own, oh yeah, you need to come stay with me as long as you need. Don't worry about no rent. Don't worry about nothing. Just bring the babies. There were other friends that was just like, yeah, that's crazy. When we're having that kind, you know why? Because I know that this friend that I'm allowing in is going to be mindful. That this friend that I'm allowing in, I'm not going to have to worry about them overstepping their bounds, taking more than they need, being audacious about the positions they put me in when they're utilizing my resources, utilizing my time or whatever. They're not going to stress me out. And to be clear, I'm not stressed out from helping people. But when you have somebody that's coming in and they're being sloppy and they're not being mindful of cleaning up after themselves, even if they wouldn't necessarily do it in their own places, specific way, but being reasonably mindful about the fact that they're in somebody else's space, being reasonably mindful about what they can and cannot contribute, and so not consuming as much, being reasonably mindful about handling their children's behavior and the emotional and energetic environment that they're bringing. It's about, and again, I said this before. I said this a few years ago. For me, it's not about perfect execution. It's about consistency and intent. So even if you're not hitting the mark you're going for, I can tell if you're trying, and I will work with you. You get what I'm saying? So that's when we're having these conversations about, oh, well, girl, why did you do this? Oh, girl, come on. For me, like I said, in a community-minded way, it's about, you could do a little better. You could be a bit more mindful. You need to be more mindful. And this is why. And this is how. And this is what I'm willing to do to help you. But it's about having these conversations, like I said, in respectful ways, in ways that speak to the person's dignity, not talking down on them, not lambast, not trying to humiliate them, not trying to drag them through the street like Cersei Lannister. You get what I'm saying? Like, why do we have to have these bread and circuses around discussing these things that need to be discussed? But why does all this ego have to come into it? Why does all this nastiness have to come into it? And if you are not the person that is going to be the person for this particular person you're discussing, like I said, that has to put up anything, that has any skin in the game, recognizing that you need to talk about things in a way that if you was in that person's face, wouldn't be any different. You need to talk about things in a way that if you were in that position, or a position from, because people be like, I would never. Okay, but we all could be in positions that could be embarrassing. Even if it's not the exact same position, we could be in positions that could be in the same level of embarrassment. And Crissle could easily get sued like Tasha K about certain things. You know what I mean? Like, it's different things that can go on. That there's positions you could be in that would be equally as embarrassing, even if they're not exactly the same situation. How would you want to be dealt with? How would you want people to talk to you? How would you want people to call you in and correct you? And some people are saying, so I don't care. Sometimes you need this and that and the other. Okay. Well, that's not my standard. You don't get to do that to me. And we also need to recognize, like, some people have different standards than us. And if you're going to interact with people, you're going to have to be mindful of their standards. And just like it's been going around a lot, that's saying that, like, you're free, you have freedom of speech, you don't have freedom of consequences. There are consequences. And we can't always, we can't always see how stuff can impact us negatively But I believe that, what you put out is what you get back. So if you want to dig your heels and your toes in to the stance of being willfully ignorant, have at it. But just be prepared for what comes from that. When someone tries to explain to you, hey, you might not want to talk in that way. You might not want to talk about them that way. Hey, Jazzy. It says, being forcibly conscripted into someone's village is also stressful. I think I understand what you're talking about, but I mean, we all got choice. Like sometimes you got to be okay with saying no to the group. Like sometimes I get you, family can try to put you in a position where they're like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that. Sometimes you got to, no, I'm not doing it. Oh, well, you should. I don't care. You know what I mean? And then y'all just be sitting there looking at each other like that man and Diddy. I've had to do that a lot within the last, 5 to 10 years. I've had to let people know, okay, well, this is what I'm on. So what we going to do here? What we going to do? Where do we go from here? What's her name? Azalea Banks said, so what now? Sometimes you just got to let there be an uncomfortable silence. And that's okay. It says willfully unkind is what I think. Is willfully unkind, is willfully ignorant. Somebody saying, I see that there's better to know, but I don't want to know it. oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, there like I said, there are conversations. If you go back in my catalog, I talked about women prioritizing dick over, the realities of their children and the way that they're shaping their children's lives and affecting their children's lives and changing their children's lives. That's a valid conversation. I had conversations about, when I talk about how the stress that I was under trying to manage everything, trying to be perfect, trying to make my kid perfect, trying to avoid being talked about or viewed the way Crissle was talking about. You know what I mean? And how that affected me and that made me insufferable to my kid and myself. So there's conversations that need to be had. My whole book is about calling women in to have that conversation about, let that man go. Stop worrying about that man. You got your kid twisting in the wind because you're chasing this man. You got your kid living through all types of craziness and debauchery, which is crazy. Cardi was on. Isn't that something that just made me think of it? Whoa, remember Cardi dragging Peter Guns because of what that whole mess with him and the 2 baby moms? Remember that? And now look. You know what I mean? So it's just like we all need to be mindful of like what we're saying and thinking it can't be us. It wouldn't be us. Life will humble you. Life will humble you. It says on 2 things certain in life, death and taxes. But it's also humbling. Life humbles us all. I remember being so mad at like women family members when I was a teenager. My idealistic, why are you doing this? This is stupid. Idealistic with my girlfriends. Why are you even putting it? Just break up with him. Just leave him alone. Then what happened? I got pregnant. Spent 8 years chasing somebody that if I was outside of myself, watching myself, being friend, being near myself, I would have told, girl, leave him alone. Do not think about him again. Like you know what I mean? Because that's the type of time I was on. That's what happens. So we need to be mindful that when we need to have these conversations, but it's just about let's it's going to be things said that are tough pills to swallow, but just because the thing that needs to be said is a tough pill to swallow doesn't mean that we need to serve it with shards of glass. Amen. Amen. Okay. But I want to bring up why I'm saying this is because, like I said, Cardi has said some things in this one. So when it comes to her talking about, she said like why she didn't. Sorry, I'm pulling this up. I'm trying to be mindful. See, this is what I didn't ask you to do all this, Cardi. That's why I was waiting. So like she was talking about how she didn't tell us why she was that she was pregnant because people are so mean to her and everything like that. But she also had mentioned to Gayle King why she didn't, and part of it was because she's scared of her parents. So I wanted to show that part of it.
You know what's so crazy? Till today.
Sorry, I muted it before I shared it, but now it's not giving me the option to unmute it. Oh, there you go. No, it's still muted. Okay, there you go. Now I can unmute it. I don't know why it's muted again. Hold on. Let me check some things. Nope, that's not muted. I unmuted it. I know I did. Can I make this big? No, I don't want it to loop. Cheese and rice. You know what I want to do? I'm going to just reload it. That should fix it. Now, wait. It's still muted. All right. I got it, y'all. Jeez Louise.
Did you call her?
You know what's so crazy? I haven't till today. Matter of fact, I had to tell them this week before this interview come out. I haven't even told my parents.
No way, Cardi.
I haven't told my parents. They just be looking at me like,
Cardi. Wait. Back up. Why haven't you told them?
Because I'm scared of them. I'm very scared of my parents.
You're scared of your parents?
I'm very scared of my parents.
Do they like Stefan? Do they like him?
Yes, they like him.
They like him.
They do like him. They do like him.
Something tells me they'll be happy for you because you have children, he has children. Were you thinking, the way we feel about each other, we both want to have a child together?
Yes. I mean, everybody kept telling me like I should have fun.
Yes.
And we had a little bit of too much fun, and now I'm here. We had too much fun. And we're very excited. We're very
and you're
happy.
both
we talk
happy
about it all the time.
and you're both happy about it.
Yes, we're very
But
happy.
I'm happy for you to see you this happy because we all know you went through a very messy divorce with Offset. Mm-hmm. Were you worried about opening your heart up again or falling in love again or even dating again? Were you concerned about that?
Yes. And one thing about like dating, like it's like when you date, you feel like you're like 16 again. And I don't really...
Well, you want to feel like you're 16. You want to meet somebody that makes you feel like that.
You do, but then it's like you also remember what you dealt with when you were 16. So it's like restarting
well,
again.
Well, that part, yeah. Yeah.
and being open
And vulnerable.
And like one time he just told me, like, it's like, let me heal you. Give me a chance for me to heal you. And it's like, okay.
He said, let me heal you.
And you know what's so crazy?
Okay, so yeah, I wanted you. That was actually everything. I thought I had another clip with the part where he said let her heal him, but I'm glad it was all in one thing. So now I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, so there are some things that I'm like, okay, girl. Amidst all the stuff, she's happy, she's taking it in stride, all of that. That's great. That's great. But and this is me going back to my experience when with my second child specifically and dealing with her father. It was one of them situations. He ain't say, oh, let me heal you, and I wasn't looking for him to heal me, but it was more so like, oh, this feels good. I'm feeling good in a way I haven't felt in a long time, like since before I had my child. It's kind of, I felt like I was connecting to myself again through him because I knew him when I was younger, type of thing. So it was one of those things where it was like, okay, this feels right in the way that this other situation felt wrong. However, in hindsight, I can say that I realized, like, once it ended, that I was connecting with a part of myself through him that I hadn't been in touch with in a long time. And I was kind of attributing it to the fact that, oh, this person brought this thing to me or back to me or whatever like that. And I'm saying all that to say that, like, I think I've been mentioning it basically since I went to, what's that called? Since we went to DC to see Beyonce, and I've been mentioning like the power of women, of our minds when it comes to men. Like, a lot of what we feel about men exists in our hearts, but in our minds. We create these stories. We create these men in our minds. And they say, well, were you falling in love with the potential or whatever? Yes. And so what happens is we create these stories, we create these scenarios, we create these this lore surrounding, girl, yes, we create this look. No, that wasn't what was healing me at all. No. Sorry, no, it wasn't that. But we create this lore around these relationships that we're in, and we puff up these men. We give these men life. And I know people say, oh, you give them life through babies and stuff. We be giving these men life long before we have children with them. We give them life through these stories that we create around them. We give them life through these legends that we create, starring them as our hero and them as our savior and our provider, protector, professor. You know what I mean? Like, we create these stories around these men, and then we get so invested in these stories that when the realities of what's going on with these men, how they're actually treating us, what they're actually showing us through how they're treating us and how they're talking about us, and what's going on, and all these things become irrelevant because we're just more locked into this story than we are to the actual person. And that, I remember at the time, friends and family kind of saying to me, hey, something's a little off with him. Like, I don't know if he's the guy for you or whatever. And I remember at that time, I was like, I sat back, I listened, and I said, I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Because I had my own reservation. I had my own things that I was looking at with him and monitoring with him. And, some stuff kind of came out in the wash as we were going along. And I was like, okay, that's what that was or whatever. But, I'm okay with that. I can deal with that, whatever. But I remember saying to my one friend specifically, I said, you know what? I hear what you're saying. I see what you're seeing in terms of how you're explaining it to me. I could see how you feel that way, and I can't even necessarily tell you you're wrong. But I also am in a place where I was so sad and so pessimistic for so long that I believe in the fact that I deserve my happy ending. I believe I deserve a happy ending. And right now, I'm not seeing anything that makes me feel like I'm not going to get my happy ending right now. I'm still open. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not 100% sold out to where there's nothing that could ever happen or nothing you could ever tell me. You know how people like, I ain't coming on and this us against the world. Did it? I wasn't there, and I let him, like, I'm not there. But right now, what I'm seeing isn't the thing that makes me feel like I need to give up walking in the belief that I can have my happy ending. And she said, you know what? I feel you. I can respect that. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like there's a way to navigate. And of course, it didn't work out and things happen or whatever. But I felt like in that situation, being in that state of mind, like I said, when stuff shifted for me, when I was like, okay, this is enough, and I was able to walk away. Yeah, I was already pregnant. But also with that, just like how Cardi was talking about it, like she knows that, hey, this is my baby. I love my baby. Like you see, I've seen her with her children. I don't know her. I'm not with her every single day. I don't, but I've seen her with her children. I've also just seen her children in a general sense. They seem like children who have strong senses of self. They seem like children who are secure in the knowledge that they are loved. They're definitely provided for. They safe. They always shining and everything. They clean. You know what I mean? So they're taken care of in all the visible ways that one can see. And like I said, in the intangible ways, when they show up, when you see them, they see their personalities, see how they're talking and interacting with each other, the little clips and stuff we do see, they're not seeming like they're hurting for anything. And I'll say the same, well, not all of them, but particular children of the Kardashians, certain children of the Kardashians, I'm not going to say who right now because I don't want to kind of go off into a tangent. You'll see like, oh, those kids are so sweet. They're so sweet and they're so mindful and they're so loving. And you know what I mean? So it's like you can see the fruits of people's parenting in how the children show up. And so there's nothing I've ever seen in terms of looking at Cardi B's children that makes me think she's a bad mother. Is it unfortunate that they're seeing all of this mess that their father is saying about their mother, and even if their mother is saying about their father? But I feel like it's mostly, the stuff offset. Even I just saw a clip today of him on Joe Budden's podcast talking about, oh yeah, none of my baby moms all my baby moms have done worse than me after. But like who wishes that on their people? And why are you doing this in this? Like it's one thing when you talking to your friends or your family members or whatever like that. You're sitting on a national, you get what I'm saying? We're talking about what the kids are going to see when it's your own parents doing weird shit. That can be a problem, right? But I'm saying all that to say, like, at the end of the day, who was it? Alicia said, we're all doing life for the first time. We're all doing life for the first time. And yes, we should know better when it comes to certain things. She's 31 years old. No, she's 32 and he's 31. And apparently, we're going to get to him too. I have a clip of him when we're talking about like the red flags and the reasons, the reasonable, I feel like reasons that people are kind of looking at this situation. The same way there was reasonable reasons for people to go to Summer's point. There was reasons why people were like, Halle Bailey, please don't do this. Please don't do this, Halle Bailey. Please don't let this man derail you. You better, whatever. And even though I don't feel like this man is derailing her, more than she already has per se, it's inconvenience, but she already got 3 headed kids. So, but yeah, there are reasonable things that people are looking at and saying, okay, this is ill advised. And you being what you've gone through, they're seeing what you've gone through. One would think that you would be at least a bit more cautious, right? And that's not an unreasonable sentiment. Again, said that so many times. It's not unreasonable to question her. It's not unreasonable to question her logic. It's not unreasonable to point out, things that just were not the best decisions. But ain't no like, why are you investing in the idea of people looking at her, looking down on her? What do you want from her? Like, what do you want her to say? What do you want from her? But yeah, I'm going to play this clip of him saying what he had to say in terms of when it was brought up to him that they were having a baby. Is this the same thing? This is not what I wanted. Hold on, sorry. Here we go. Tick tock, tick tickety tock. Hey, Remember that? That was a time.
Oh, my personal life? Yeah. I told you about that. I won't talk too much about my personal life, but I heard about it.
Any celebrations that we'll see in the?
We'll see.
Stefan, the baby rooms too.
Who?
The baby rooms.
Who is that?
You.
Oh, my personal life?
Yeah.
I told you about that. I won't talk too much about my personal life, but I heard about it.
Any celebrations that we'll see in the?
We'll see.
I don't like it. I don't like it. If I'm saying, yeah, I'm pregnant by this person, and you say, oh yeah, I don't talk about my, I don't know, I heard about, I don't like it. I don't freaking like we that's a red flag, because we supposed to be a united front. You have the baby with this person and you want us to just be happy for you. Y'all not even on the same type time right now. Y'all not even on the same type time around telling people. You get what I'm saying? Like that made my stomach ball up. You know what I mean? And like I said, considering what she's been through, it's like it's just that self-preservation. You know, I'm concerned. My butt cheeks are clenched. You know what I mean? But again, do I feel like she got to be a bunch of dumb bees and all that other stuff? No, but I'm concerned, and I hope. Ultimately, I hope. Child, let's listen. We ain't even getting all that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to turn this into a whole thing. There's a lot of. All I'm saying is, I already said it, and we can kind of wrap it up here in terms of my views on it or whatever. I already said it. There's valid concerns. There's valid concerns. There's valid, things that got people like, I don't know, like, it's not invalid. But it's like we don't have to do all of that. It said not Cardi's ovaries making Offset irrelevant. Does he know that? Does he know he's irrelevant? He should. But death throes are like that. So I'm going to put, in case there's anybody that wants to say anything before we wrap up, I'm putting a link out there if anybody wants to come up and comment on anything we talked about today. Sorry, I don't know why I muted myself. But yeah, like, reload what page? Hold on, it's saying something about reloading the page. Oh, that was just for the comments. Why did it reload all my comments? All my comments are going except for the ones I pinned. It said the comments will display here. Y'all, please comment some stuff so I can see if it's working again. It told me to reload it and then it went away. All the comments went away. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'll go ahead and put that in there too, just in case. I hope y'all can see it. Are y'all commenting? Let me check. See, that's on me, because usually I would have been off of here by now. That's my fault. I started. Okay, I see it. Thank you, Black Killer. I see you need a comment. Cool beans. So yeah, ultimately, you know what type time we're on over here, right? Routine. Let's have the conversation. But like, we're going to have a conversation. Don't nobody need to be talking at anybody. But I know people like, girl, you was dragging that lady. I was dragging what's her name? Kendra Lakari. And I'd do it again. And I also was dragging Miss Girly Girl. What's her name? Ashley from what's that? Love at First Sight? Is that Love at First Sight the name of that show? I think of what it is. I dragged her. I did. Because why were you talking bad about them kids? Why were you talking bad about them children? Why would you do that? But like I said, that I would say is her face. I would say it's her face because she was mean for no reason. Well, I don't see any. Oh, okay, girl. Period. I was about to end it. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I've never called into a show,
No. Oh my God. Thank you.
but I'm really interested in this topic.
Okay. What do you have for us?
So here's the thing. I have so many thoughts about the internet age, but my issue with Cardi B and this whole discourse is that, okay, let me turn myself off in the other room.
Okay.
So here's the thing. My issue with Cardi B, as far as me being a person looking outside in, is that I believe that this pregnancy is one, a oopsie or unplanned, and it's due to Catholicism and I don't practice that religion, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but it seems like, and she is Latin America and she goes by Afro Latino. It seems like they hold these certain terms of Catholicism where she talks all kinds of ratchetness, but when it comes down to fertility, they don't believe in birth control and abortion, and those things are like off the table when it comes to family planning.
I agree. I Somebody just said that in the chat earlier and I hadn't even thought of that, but I do recall like when I was watching her talk about how she was just like, "Oh, I love my kid and this and that and the other." I did get the sense of like she's just someone who doesn't believe in abortion because I think any one of us would think like if there were ever a time if there were ever a time to have an abortion, this was it. So it to me it did give intuitively that she probably doesn't believe in abortion. And
And
every single time.
this is not me saying that she needs an abortion or not need abortion. Like I
Right.
don't monitor people's what they do with their body parts, but it seems like it's just not an option, and it's like really grounded into her upbringing, and so that makes it very difficult because I do not think this is planned, and so I think Stephens was a rebound. He was a I don't think this is like a real relationship, but she has this baby, and because she is, for whatever reasons, I don't know what the music business is pretty harsh. She has to promote this record, and she has to, unlike Stefan, has to explain that she is in her third trimester, because that's what that looks like. That belly looks pretty like she's really far along.
Yeah, they said so her tour is supposed to be happening in I think like February or something. It's supposed to kick off. And I think they were saying like she is supposed to have the baby before the tour starts. So like yeah, she's clearly quite far along. And it's like and let's talk, what's out there in terms of uh gossip, I guess, with him supposedly allegedly having multiple women pregnant at this time. Like they're saying that she could be the fourth woman pregnant currently by him. So that gives breeder energy. That would make me concerned because I remember seeing her with the little stuff and showing off. Oh, he took me to a castle and feeling all that stuff. And then she's saying, he said, "Oh, let me heal her." Somebody in the chat was like, "Oh, yeah, that's classic pimp talk." Like, yeah, like when I heard that, all the bells were ringing for me. Like, oh, girl, why did you let? And I would pray that, like, it wasn't a conversation along with "let me heal you" of "let me get you pregnant." You know what I'm like? I know. Let's put it this way. I speak from experience of being someone in a vulnerable emotional state and utilizing sex as a form of intimacy. You know, and I'm not just talking, you know, people like, oh, you can have sex and you can have fun. And yes, you can. But I feel like a lot more people that'll try to say that they're just using sex for, you know, fun and hijinks or whatever are really using sex to feel close to people. And so that is that thing where it's like, okay, I'm not using the birth control I could be using, or I'm not being as safe as I could be, or whatever, because there's something else driving this. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things about what she has said and what is going around about who this person is. And I know even before any kind of pregnancies, when she first got with him, people were saying like he's just not a good dude. You know, according to what they know. And I don't know anything about him. Like, as far as I'm concerned, he's a kid to me. So I don't really care about his goings on, his doings. But it's like, that's concerning. But it sounds like that she, knowing that, oh shoot, I'm in it now, because it seems like she's been through it before, that she's just, whatever comes, I'll just handle it. You know, and that's really all you can do.
And to address production inquiry about, yes, I think, and that's why I'm bringing up her Catholicism, because I think that really plays a role. And I'm concerned about it because so many girls, especially girls that she looks up to, her fans or whatever, who are in the Latin community, don't believe in, and with this what you call it, what is called trad, right? Trad wife tradition, and red pill. I'm older, and this internet stuff, I'm not that old, but the way people talk on the internet about 30-year-olds being unks, it makes me a little bit concerned. But but these traditions of just being a quote unquote housewife, it's like you eliminate a lot of your options when you don't believe in birth control. Like, they do not, Catholics who practice this quasi-Catholic, and I struggle with her Catholicism because her music is pretty ratchet. So
wasn't she? And then that doesn't mean that you can have dual, you know, consciousnesses going on when you're raising this stuff. But wasn't she repping Santeria?
Yes. So there's a lot going on, but what I do know about religion, and religion in particular, is that people will latch on to certain concepts. So this concept of not using birth control is pretty intense in certain Latin communities. So I don't think this lady uses birth control. And so I don't know. It just seems like it was like,
I don't either. And like I said, like, in my experience, I've talked before about it, my mindset and the different things that I was going through psychologically, where I was not being safe. Like, I was being very sexually active, but I was not being anything that looked like safe. And how, you know, now I can go back and say what it was specifically that was putting me, and I'm saying I see those things in her, and how she's talking about these situations, and, you know, her vulnerability, but also in her strength, in her performance of strength, the way, because there was a part of the I don't want to try to put too many clips on here because I don't want them to take me down. But there was part of her interview with Gail where she was discussing how she can't ever basically complain or like say she's tired or anything, because she watched her grandmother have 10 kids and still go out and be a hustler and do all these things that she had to do, you know, in her time and where she came from, and then watch her mom work so hard, and now that she's in this privileged position, you know, she can't ever, those type of mindsets where I'm talking about that pressure.
she definitely has what you call what I would call, I don't want to get into too many details because, you know, I know you've been on here long, survivor's guilt. Like, she's the first person who made it. And so she has a lot of responsibility because she made it out of the hood, but it's based in what people call, when I use these words, I use them correctly. I hate the way the internet uses them, about generational trauma. Like, she's the first one that made it out. I imagine that her parents, even though they were together, that it was chaotic, that they both worked multiple jobs, because her mom is Dominican and her dad is Trinidadian. So she is Afro-Latino. And so I think she has a lot on her shoulders. And then to add that piece of I'm going to eliminate half of my choices of birth control. So I think I think maybe it was doing a moment of pleasure or whatever,
Yeah.
where she didn't use a condom. But I don't think this pregnancy was planned at all, nor do I think Blossom was planned either. But Blossom was a product of off cheat. I don't like that man. Upset. That's what I call him. Off cheat, playing with her, and sort of kind of you being emotionally manipulative. So
Yeah.
that's different. But I think Blossom was also not playing, and that's because there's so many options not open to her. So, and I wanted to talk about it, my concerns about it from that lens, as opposed to the lens of, oh, she got a husband, because I think Offset Kiari is not a good person and was not a good husband, and F him because
No,
we
but
are
I
on.
definitely feel like I feel like when there is, and this is from me speaking from experience, when you have, like you said, a lot of generational trauma and just general trauma, um, from being a woman in this society, interacting sexually, emotionally, relationally with men, and kind of in real time, because seeing the way she moves with men, you can tell that there's a childish, a kind of naivete and a kind of childishness. And I'm saying that not as an insult. I'm saying, like I said, I want to be, and it's one of the reasons that I don't engage romantically and sexually with men anymore, because I would want to be fancy free and carefree in a way that I recognize now, having learned the hard way, that it's dangerous to be. And it seems like
Yeah,
she's
and she
still
was,
in the
she's 31. So
yeah.
apparently, like, this generation is a Gen Z. I don't know. I'm learning these new terms, but Gen Z, they were like kind of implemented with this traditional wife and these red pill men, but they don't have no they the thing with the red pill men is these men are not capable of taking care of families, and
Mhm.
so it's really just ridiculous how they talk about being a provider that they can't be. But they were, so she was sort of kind of formed with these crazy ideals that don't make sense, that if you look at your family unit, both your mom and your dad both worked.
I mean, well, the thing
Had
is,
to.
they were both working too, and I think, like, when it comes to this now we have language for it, and we can call it red pill ideology, right?
Yeah.
But this stuff was always around. It just, there was no language for it. People weren't necessarily talking about it. Like, I've sat and talked with my grandma, and she's talking to me about her grand people and her people that she know, and I'm hearing about people pulling guns and people stabbing people. I'm talking to my girlfriends about their lineage, and they talk about their grandmoms throwing lie on their grandfathers. And you get what I'm saying? So it's like all this stuff was going on, and all these attitudes were happening, but we're just getting to a point now where people are talking about it and people are being honest about it. And now you can actually go, oh, because before there was conversations about it, we were just all kind of living, like I said, about women making up these stories in their mind about what you're doing with this man, about who he is to you and to the family and to the community and all this other stuff. We were just kind of able to just live in our minds with this stuff. But now when I'm listening to these men talk, I'm like, no wonder, because I've always been more of a person of, it needs to feel right. A lot of people just go off of what it looks like. So that's why you'll see these people that just lean so heavily on the fact, oh, well, I'm married, so everything's fine. You get what I'm saying? And so, unfortunately, like you said, with her having quote unquote made it, I think that just like a lot of people be relaxing on their haunches of like, oh, well, at least I'm married, or at least I have a man, or at least the man is in the home, even though everything is a shit show. She was thinking, well, I have money and we're married, and you get what I'm saying? So she had
She
even more of
addresses
a
that.
reason.
One of the things I'm doing is because I'm re exploring hip hop. So I actually listened to her album, and she addressed these things um about her naivete, about
Mhm.
how she was like, well, I have a ring, so I didn't
Mhm.
believe all of the gossip that went on. And then she really has come to terms that this man was cheating on her really badly. So I really think that she was just having fun with Stephens, and because of just being irresponsible or just getting out of a situation, she was being reckless and unsafe. But I would like to say it in that terms as opposed of this terms of, oh, she got money. It's not the same thing as what Nick is doing, where he's going around putting his seed in everything that moves because he's trying to prove a point to his bro man that he can get a woman. It's not the same thing.
He was looking for safety and she was looking for love, and he was just trying to prove some you know what I mean?
Yes. And so I guess I'm one of those, but I don't use these terms that are male identified. And I just really am very honest and very like, yeah, there's what people sell you. And then there's the truth. And I really kind of deal in truth. And so the truth is that this man was a bum, but she did not notice it and was trained and socialized to accept the nonsense. But once she kind of came out of it, she did the hard thing. And when she was sort of kind of doing her victory lap, she got caught up. And I don't know what we're going to do about this whole lack of birth control and I think that is a big thing, that the fact that she won't get an abortion. Because I think if she was in not in this rigid religion, she would have done it.
Never known. we could have never known. We would have never
Would
known.
never known. Because it's always, at the end of the day, what I grew up with, it's always baby's mom, is
Mama's baby, papa's maybe.
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So he can go around talking.
I think she knows that too. And that's why when she's like, look, well, I'll just handle it in stride. I'm just happy for my babies. Whatever happens, I'm gonna take care of my babies. I'm gonna be a good mother. And because again, that's all she can do, and hoping for the best. Right now, there's no reason for her to feel like he's not gonna be there per se. But like I said, I'm not feeling too sure about how he's talking about it
I
right
just
now.
hope she's learned. Like, unlike 7 years ago when she was 24 or whatever, that she understands that I'm the one who said that he was running game. I hope she understands that he running game still, and that this is her baby. This is not their baby.
Yeah.
He might be around, he might not. But
tread lightly.
Yes.
Concerned.
But go ahead, Concerned. I've taken up enough.
No, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
It's a conversation. I mean, I hear that. I'm sorry, I came in at the end. My mom came in and asked, wanted to talk to me. So I might have missed some stuff. But one of the things I wanted to add, I know that societally, as it relates to abortion, right? Abortion is one of those things that is so polarizing and so personal. And so I personally wish people were more able to practice, protection and birth control. But I also think, and this is something that I'm still wrestling with and just airing out, but this is kind of how kids kind of come into this world. Like, most of the time we don't have these neat origin stories. And so for me, I don't really think about, to your point, like the mommy's baby, daddy's maybe. That's something that I personally live by. And everything isn't about the money, but I do think that we also, like, women who want to have kids are the ones who should be having kids. And I think Cardi wants to have kids. She enjoys motherhood. And so in my mind, it's like, if she wants these kids and is enjoying motherhood and her kids are well adjusted and happy, and as far as I've seen, they're not unhappy and not miserable. I mean, they're babies, though. Like, I don't like. I personally think about like these guys are both still alive, so they can still be fathers to the capacity that they are willing to be. Like she's not denying them the opportunity to be parents. And
We
so,
can't hear you. Hold on. I'm hearing air and you sound far away.
oh, okay. So there is what about now?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, so if she is like she has not, as far as we know, as far as I know rather, been stopping these guys from being the fathers that they want to be. So it's kind of like that, like whoever, whether or not this baby is going to be a boy or a girl, whatever, they are going to kind of get the same kind of dice roll experience we all have. And
Okay, can I just step in a little bit?
For sure.
Just to explain my part. So I am not saying that she does not want children, that she's not caring for her children. I think they're well cared for. But to the point of this channel, I think that as a woman who has experienced if you listen to her music and if you followed her, she's experienced a very bad relationship where she has loved this man and because she was in this relationship, she had all these children. So it's about intentionality. So the point of this channel is to say that not that the children shouldn't be here and that she shouldn't have them, because that is not my place, but that she was not intentional. She did not plan these children, and she has the means and the education and the experience to do so. So I think that is the frustration of that lady. If I can make it kinder, I don't like the lady. Everything she said, it was just it was so hurtful the way the lady addressed her concerns. But if I want to make it clean it up, because I like to clean up people's intentions, it was about that she's already been through an experience where she's had several children in an unsafe relationship, and she did not choose, because I don't think she chose, by being very impulsive and reckless, has accidentally gotten pregnant again. And at your fourth pregnancy is not accidental, and it is unfair. It can be unfair because she is, and I have all my thoughts because I have a tertiary degree. I won't go into anything because I'm not seeing her on that level, but the fact that she is pregnant in her third trimester and is planning on going on a tour in February and she's had preeclampsia, that she said in her record, because I've listened to it, is that's not very wise. That is not using her experience and her life experience to make different decisions. So that's what I'm saying with Cardi. That's what if I had a relationship with her, which I would have a concern with her. But because I don't have a relationship with her, I'm just joining a conversation. If I could be so kind. Does that make sense?
Oh, it totally does. And I think that I only caught the tail end of what you said. So I know that we had a few back and forth messages in the chat, but I think I'm thinking about it just at large as opposed to Cardi B specifically. But I definitely take your point. And I mean, I've not personally had children, and I understand that, after you have these kids, your body is going through a lot. So a tour is unwise. And these are things that, is very fair to come up and say. So I'm not even pushing back there. I think where I'm pushing back is on the how do I say this? Not you. In general, what I heard from Crissle.
You can be a direct shooter with me. You don't have to mince your words. I know you can just say what you want to say. I think kids are designed. Just for the record, I'm an Aquarius. So I'm one of those people who speak truth and just facts over feelings. 50% of pregnancies are unplanned. So like this notion that, oh, you can plan your pregnancy, but she can. My thing with Cardi is that she has the resources, the intelligence, and the experience to have done better this time. But because I don't have a relationship with her and I don't know her, I don't want to be judgy like everybody else on the internet is being.
Yeah, and I mean, I fully take your point, and I am a direct person. I think I am genuinely saying in general, like the disdain that people have often in my mind comes from classism, because Cardi B has her accent and her vernacular that people often judge her harshly in these situations, because most of the time people are just assuming that these are the choices she's going to make. And I think also with Cardi B, so I'm not a person who thinks that I want kids. So the women who want kids, like there are women in my family who wanted kids and went ahead and had kids with no expectation that the guy was going to be there. And that might be something that is judged by thinking about that like kind of preemptively, but often that's the outcome for many women. Like literally on my screen right now, there's this lady called Jenny Gage, who is an ex-Mormon, grew up in a Mormon church. She's somebody I watch very often. And she is, talking about how even in her pre-trad wife life, like she was shocked to find out that when they don't want you no more, she was ending up homeless. And so it happens to so many women that a man is not a plan and he can leave you at any time. And so I actually prefer the mindset where if a woman wants to have kids, she should have kids because she wants to have kids. But I also take what you're saying in terms of the safety of the pregnancy, in terms of whether or not she's giving herself ample time to recover after birth, given the fact that a tour is not a small thing to take on. I noticed from watching all of the artists from that I like that a lot of them are going on tour just to make money, because they're not making money off of the sales of their records and their streams and stuff like that. So there might be other things there, but I also take your point. For me, it's a protection around the kind of the kind of like, oh well, the paternity piece is what I'm kind of annoyed about, and the piece around judging her as if like nobody had this type of stuff to say when Angelina Jolie was having 6 kids. Like nobody, and she did not intend to have a man.
I do believe so. You're talking about racism and I don't know. I just use the term, and classism, and I understand that. But me as a Black woman, I am actually a Black woman. I guess I would be called a foundational Black American. I do not go by all those terms. I'm a Black woman. So yes, who she is definitely, there was a level of elitism and classism with that feedback from that lady that just rubbed me the wrong way. So yes, she is experiencing all that, but that's not where my critique is coming from. My critique is coming from, girl, you could have done better and should have just enjoyed Stefan for a good time and not a long time. And now she is connected to this man, even if it's very not by anything financial, because she can take care of her own children and has been made to do so from her husband, but she's still connected to this man, another man, for the next 18 years who, no.
I do
I
want to
wouldn't have
jump
done
in
it.
really quickly, and because I had a live within the last couple of months. I don't remember the specific conversation about it, but it had to do with, people having multiple children with multiple men and the stigma attached to it only Black women. And how I went down this thread, there was a Twitter thread where it was showing all the white women who have multiple children by multiple fathers, who have, you know, a story with these fathers, some of them of like, oh yeah, they got together and had sex the first night, and just basically how that's not a part of their legacy. Like, they're not defined, their careers and their brands are not defined at all by any aspect of their sexual life, whereas with you see what's happening with the Black and Black adjacent women, and how this always winds up a topic of conversation anytime they get pregnant. So I just wanted
Yes.
to
I
bring that
mean,
back.
yes, I believe that Cardi experiences racism. She does go by being an Afro Latino. I know that that's going to be a big thing because she called Black women roaches, but I have an explanation for that. But she is very much being judged because she started from the bottom. She's a quote street B. uh that language is so terrible. So she's there, and I argue with my circle a lot about how racism and classism are linked, and that's because of it's systemic oppression. So I very much think she's being judged by that, but that's not why I'm judging her. If I'm going to be real, I'm judging her because girl, Stefan should have been a plaything. That's what I think, and not a long-term plan, and she did not do that. But I don't want to link it to anything to do with Stefan and him being a better man or a worse man than the other. I think men these days are bums. They've been allowed to be bums. They've been allowed to sort of occupy a space um of providing shelter and comfort when they really don't do that. And the fact that Cardi had to call out Offset for because he's just as rich as her, and he's not providing anything. And it was sort of when we talk about social media, and I sort of kind of observe and how it was distorted that she was calling him out and she was playing him out. No, he has money as well, but he chooses to do it on paying for, strippers and gambling. He chooses not to take care of his kids. So yeah, I just don't like that it's linked. Her having this baby is somehow linked to these men in her life who should be side characters at best. At best. Because they are okay. But I
Right?
mean,
In that world, right? In that same world where men are out here acting a donkey, girl, you will never have me argue with that. That is something I am there with you at that line with you. But if a woman wants to have a baby, right? We have to at this stage have that with men. I understand surrogacy. I understand, sperm donation and stuff like that. In my mind, it's like
I get what you're saying. I get that, yeah, men have to be involved in the process and this, that, and a third. I'm not saying that their role is not important, but I'm saying that it's not important in how we sort of kind of idealize it. So if you look at, how real polygamy worked, it was because the kings had money to take care of their multiple wives, not this, oh, we just gonna have babies everywhere and we can't take care of them. So I I don't know. I'm trying to explain this because I get what you're putting down is that she should be allowed to have babies if she wants to have babies, but that's not her story. So I like to be very specific. We're talking about Cardi, and that's not Cardi's story, and that's not most women's stories. Most women go into it with this fantasy that they're going to lay down and they're going to have a relationship and they're going to have these babies. It's really not, oh, I'm going to use this man as a surrogate and I'm going to have my babies. Maybe we can change the conversation to that, but that's not what this is. And so I have a hard time trying to support your your notion that she should be able, yeah, she's gonna have the baby. She's gonna have it because she's already in her third trimester. She's about to have this baby, and she's gonna be responsible for it. And my thing, the discourse going to be if he is my thing with the discourse is if he ends up being the bum we think she is, what we think he might be, are we gonna blame that on Cardi B? Because she already has the baby. So, and she always gonna take care of this baby because she's been shown to take care of the other three. So, are we gonna blame his potential bad behavior on her?
No, he's gonna be irrelevant, which is exactly what Offset is. Offset out here making a bunch of noise, knowing full and well that he decided to be irrelevant in these kids' life. So, I mean, I definitely hear you. I definitely am not. I the hard part too around women and expectations around having kids. So I just left Texas, and Texas has a zero abortion law. Out in Georgia, they kept a Black woman hooked up to a IV in order to have them
Oh, I know all about the draconian laws of what's going on with maternal fetal health and how it's going to kill a lot of Black women. Yes, I live in Texas, by the way, and also I have a strong I have a strong aversion to what they're doing as far as these laws are, and the fact that I have to even consider not saying abortion because it might get um, level up channel taken down is so ridiculous. So because I'm just calling a thing, I'm not supporting it or not supporting it, but it is an option that is really off the table in a lot of 50 states. So
right. She's in
but
New
not in
Jersey though, so that might not be a problem for her, but still, like, I like, one of my things is, and again, this is just me saying in general, the women who want to have kids and enjoy motherhood, let them do it. That's kind of my thing. If you like it that much, you repopulate the earth. Leave me alone. That's kind of and so I mean, but I also understand I also understand what you're saying, and I also understand that as these children are being made, a lot of times the women are swept up in their feelings for the guy, and promises made, and that disappointment can create repercussions for the child's life and mental health and all the above. So I take your point. I take your point. Yeah, I take your point.
Please do not. That is not my point. My point is not what that's what that lady said. But I think that lady's intentions were very malicious and not done in good faith. I do have comments about having children, but I was just the discourse that I was responding to was that somehow her getting pregnant, but while she's still married, is some kind of major moral um uh, fault, and
Yeah.
test
I don't like that
I
either. Thing
just
like
test that theory
she
at
doesn't
all.
have she doesn't need to have any kind of loyalty to him or that marriage. They're actively getting divorced. Now I am confused. I will say I am confused as to why they're not currently divorced, since it's been going on a while, but I also know that he is very petty and contentious. And so I'm sure, and they have a lot of assets and stuff, so I'm sure that has a lot to
Oh,
do with
he's
it.
being petty. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the fact that I know this is really annoying because I try to stay out of like the gossip of people's lives. But he actually, the last gossip I heard was that he was asking for child support and spousal support. So he's giving her a hard time. So he's not
Yeah.
signing the papers. So he's actually preventing that marriage from ending.
Can you imagine? That's the part that has me thrilled. Like, when guys do everything to destroy the foundation and trust and the whole basis of the relationship, I don't know if it's just to test. I don't know what goes through their minds, but why didn't you think that why did you think that you would be entitled to stay in the relationship when you did everything to violate it? Like, he's out here acting like he's a victim when we've been seeing all of the things that Cardi went through. Like, why did you do things to destroy your relationship if you were going to be crying like this?
He's being manipulative, and I try not to get into gender wars and all that stuff because I don't want to, outcast a whole group, a whole gender. But this man is the reason why gender wars exist, because he's being everything that the people who swear, what's it called? The people who swear off men, every he's the reason why. He's cheating, he's gambling, he doesn't pay for anything, and then he won't sign the papers. He is what I'm learning these new lingo. He's a male baddie. He's a terrible, terrible person.
Gagged. I'm using that. He's a male baddie for sure. Like, I don't know. Like, they love to cry about like gold diggers, youth diggers, spirit diggers, will to live diggers is them. Like, they just keep driving you crazy until you're completely depleted.
He has been such a horrible man that it's hard for me to. I try. I'm like the host. Kiana. I'm very much an empath, and so I can hardly tolerate the discourse around certain things, such as why I like your channel. But he's everything that the most man-hating woman would ever say. He is the example of that. If you put an example of a bum ass nigga, he would be that. He is Future personified. He is Future's child. And I think Future is a terrible man. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's a certain breed, a certain strain, if you will, like a virus of man, and he is that.
He is that. So that is why she's still married. She's still married because this man is, I think, production. I can't see it because I can't
That's
see the
production
chart.
inquiry. That's production inquiry.
She just said he's being financially abusive. He is. He's taking advantage of Cardi. And one thing I want to say before I stop, because I want you to take control of your stream, is that men are favored in the courts. The reason why DDG was whining is because they have failed for this thing that, if you go to courts. No, men are favored in the courts. And so that is why he is allowed to do the things he does. Usher, and what's that other man? Neil. They shouldn't have full custody of their children. They do because men, and this is also in Georgia where she's filed for divorces, favor the men. So yeah, I don't have nothing nice to say about Kiari. And if I start calling you by your government name, that means I'm just done with you. That is Upset's government name. That's her husband's government name, Kiari. I don't have nothing to say about that.
I remember their names, because both of their names, I remember people were saying when you say their names, it sound like you casting spells.
I am.
The both of them. They got some names on them.
That's what I do. If I believe this spells, that's what I'm doing. Kiana?
Yes, Kiana. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I am going to go ahead and close out here. I want to thank you both for coming up. You really did contribute so much to the conversation. I appreciate you, coming up and talking amongst each other. And y'all had a really good. Like this segment was really great. You made it what it was. So I want to let you know I appreciate your contribution to this discussion, and I
Hope
love.
I'm helpful. I just want to be helpful. I don't want to like bemoan us. I hope I was helpful
Yes,
to the chat.
absolutely. No, like I said, one of the ways when I talk about like we need to be having these conversations, also what helps is being able to model having these conversations in a way that is respectful. You know what I mean? To have disagreements that don't have to devolve into insults and things like that. And so that is what we're all contributing to when we're in this space. When I created this space, I did not create this space just for me. I did not create this space just as, a platform for myself. I created this space as a space that we can share and have these needed conversations, because we do need to discuss it. We do need to be breaking it down. We do need to be questioning it both within ourselves and within our community, and working on how we relate to each other as people that need help and as people who are helpers. So I, again, thank you so much for coming up and offering your perspective. Concern, you my girl, you always the one, the truth teller, the big-hearted, community-minded person. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody in the chat. I'm always happy to see all of you. And please remember what I said. Like, if we want to actually be the change we want to see, we got to let other people know that we're here and we're doing the work, so that we can start seeing the fruits of the work in the community at large. I'm my fingers across. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for sitting here with me. This has been one of the longer lives I've done, and I enjoyed it. It was effortless. Usually I start getting a headache after about 2 hours, but nope, I'm good and I feel good and everything is good. So good night. I love you. I will see you all at the next one. Oh, I forgot I could go ahead and do a outro. I usually be forgetting to do the outro, child. That just goes to show I'm on my game tonight, people. Y'all ain't ready. All right. Bye.